On my first day as a transfer student, I took the top girl's seat. The whole class screamed. A boy from the back row said in horror, "Teacher, that's Su Jie's seat." Teacher Yao didn't stop him. "Su Baiju hasn't arrived yet. Stop with the nonsense. Class, sit down." Under everyone's pitying and terrified gazes, I slung my black backpack over one shoulder and walked over calmly. I set down my bag, took out my books, and planned to get familiar with the course material. Suddenly there was a bang. The back door was kicked open. 2 girls walked in. The boy at the front desk lowered his head and warned, "Su Jie, your seat." Su Baiju looked over at me sitting beside her. "Don't cause trouble before the class placement exam." Su Baiju clicked her tongue. Decided to give teacher Yao face for now, planning to deal with her after. She shot me a cold glance, then pulled out the chair and sat down. The whole class was shook. Su Jie actually held back. After math class ended, "Hey Ngu." The front desk boy Lin Xiaobei turned around casually, holding a test paper in his hand. Voice kept very low. "That derivative problem teacher Yao just explained. Can I copy your notes on it?" I was too slow to follow. I glanced at the test paper. Problem at this level. Didn't even require thinking for her. Too simple. Not worth noting down. Tone flat, but completely showing off. Lin Xiaobei's face had that look of pure admiration. Pointed at another problem and asked, "Then what about this one?" I didn't decline. Took the draft paper. Pen scratching across the surface. "Draw an auxiliary line here. There are 2 methods. The second one is faster." My voice was low and magnetic, clear and organized. The originally complex problem was solved in a few strokes. Crystal clear. Lin Xiaobei listened with shining eyes. "Damn, you are amazing and goo. No mistakes." I put down the pen. Was just about to get up to get some water. A slender hand with prominent knuckles suddenly reached over, pressing down on the corner of my desk, staring at me hard. Voice hoarse, "So noisy. Keep talking, and I will cut out your tongue." I did not get angry. Instead I gave a light laugh, leaned slightly forward, got close to his ear, in a voice only the 2 of us could hear. Low and teasing, "Sorry about that, Your Highness. Next time, I will be quieter." Su Baiju froze. This little bookworm was talking to her. Did not think too much about it. Shifted position and kept napping. I came back with water and turned around, and ran right into, by Ningbin's unreadable expression. "Young master, and what a coincidence." I glanced at his empty hands, smirked slightly. "Here to get water. Without a cup, planning to drink with your mouth." Bai Ningbin was speechless. He grabbed my shoulder and lowered his voice. "Stop messing around. Are things really okay?" "Fine," I said casually. "Except for my deskmate. Looks pretty decent, but her temper is like a powder keg. Needs babysitting." Bai Ningbin's expression shifted. "You mean Su Baiju? That is the Golden Circle mad dog." He looked at me like I was a martyr. "Don't come crying if she messes with you." "Mess with me?" I cut him off. A flicker of amusement in my eyes. She would need to be capable of that first. The young master left coolly, his silhouette cold and proud. Second period was English class. The English teacher walked in clicking her heels, pushed up her thick-rimmed glasses, eyes sharp as lightning. She could not stand that kind of student. The lawless type. At that moment, Su Baiju was slumped on her desk, dead asleep. I was bent over organizing my notes. Suddenly felt the air pressure around me drop, like the air had frozen solid. The whole class went dead silent. "Su Baiju," Teacher Chun called out coldly. No response. "New male student. Wake your deskmate up to answer the question." Teacher Chen's firepower turned onto me. In that moment, dozens of eyes all locked onto me at once. Their gazes all saying, "Take care, brother. Rest in peace." Several boys in the back rows exchanged glances. It is over. This new handsome guy is done for. The last person who woke up Zhou Jie. The grass on their grave is already 2 meters tall. This is gonna be good. I tilted my head. On Su Baiju's desk. I knocked twice, not too hard, not too soft. The sound crisp, especially clear in the dead silent classroom. "Teacher is calling you." The young man's voice was light, no ups and downs. Su Baiju slowly lifted her head. Irritably ran a hand through her messy hair. Shot a fierce look at whoever was beside her. Looking for death. My expression did not change. Pointed upward. "I do not want to die. But the one up there seems to want you to." Su Baiju followed the direction I pointed. Met Teacher Chen's ashen face. Then slowly stood up, radiating a heavy oppressive aura. Teacher Chen began to lecture. "Su Baiju, your science scores being perfect. Fine, that is talent. Nothing I can do about that, but look at your English. Failing every single time. if you keep dragging the class average down. Su Baiju clearly had no patience for the lecture. One hand in her uniform pocket. Interrupted impatiently. Get to the point. Teacher Chen's hands shook with anger. How do you use this grammar pattern? Su Baiju glanced at the blackboard. Did not even think about it. Voice lazy and hoarse. No weapon. Don't use weapon. If there is one, use but. Answer is C. Done. The whole class fell completely silent. Teacher Chun was left totally speechless. Could only wave her hand. Sit down. No sleeping next time. Su Baiju gave a soft laugh. Pulled out her phone. Turned it horizontal. Started playing a game. A glance swept past. Done. Su Baiju narrowed her eyes. Not bad. This guy had successfully caught her attention. During break, a kid from the neighboring class snuck over to gossip. Zhou heard the new deskmate is quite something. Have you gotten him yet? Tang 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 rushed to answer. Get who? Looks proper on the outside. Very arrogant. Dared to wake up Zhou Jie in class. This guy is something else. Calm and composed. The only one who could make Su Baiju not flinch within 3 seconds. In the whole school it is only him. Su Baiju chewed her gum. Eyes locked on the crowd. That straight-backed figure. Corner of her mouth curved. What is the rush? There is still time. We can take our time with this. Xia Xiaocheng followed her gaze. Eyes went wide. Holy crap. That isn't Xia. That figure is unreal. Su Jie actually let him sit next to her. Qiao Iza and Lui Chen must be dying of jealousy. Tang 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 lowered her voice. Who knows? Maybe Su Jie is into that type. Xia Xiaocheng. Get back to class 6. The head of discipline roared from across the hall. Xia Xiaocheng slipped away. After the assembly, Lin Xiaobei followed in Xia around like a little tail. Ngu. Exam coming up again. After this one they'll assign seats by ranking. Hope I end up close to you. And Xia had one hand in his pocket. Expression calm. Does not matter. It is just the opening exam anyway. Lin Xiaobei looked at him with envy. Oh right, Ngu. Which dorm building are you in? Let us walk back together at noon. Wait, never mind. I do not live on campus. What? Lin Xiaobei nearly jumped. You don't live on campus. Beifu is famous for its military-style management. Everyone is required to live on campus. The only ones who don't have to fall into 2 categories. First type, ultra-rich kids like Su Baiju whose family donated buildings to the school. Second type, political elites like Bai Ningbin with deep family connections. In the entire second year, only a handful of students had those special privileges. And Xia looked so low profile. But turns out he is one of them. My expression did not change. Do I have to live on campus? My uncle's place is nearby. It is convenient. He did not explain further. The Bai family had already arranged things with the school. For his and Bai Ningbin's convenience. Lin Xiaobei looked at him in awe. Ngu, you really keep a low profile. So many people want day student status. Their parents practically wore down the school's doorstep. School said nothing. But you just got it. That is insane. I smiled. Did not respond. A man must know how to maintain his mystery. Walking in through the back door. My steps paused. At my seat, the school heartthrob from next class, Lui Chen, was fawning all over the sleeping Su Baiju. Seeing me come back, she refused to move, eyes full of contempt. What are you looking at? I glanced at the dust on her pants, casually. Dirty. Do not think sitting here makes you special. Lui Chen lowered her voice and warned. Su Baiju is not someone you can handle. Get out of my way. I stepped closer, towering over her. Your head needs fixing. Get out of my way. Lui Chen's face instantly turned green. I ignored her completely, pulled out a tissue, wiped my chair 3 times right in front of her. Like cleaning off something dirty. Lui Chen was fuming. But since Su Baiju was sleeping, could only grit her teeth. You just wait. I tossed the tissue, calmly sat back down and started working on problems. Never gave her a single glance the whole time. At noon when school let out, the cafeteria put on a whole drama. I was slowly packing my bag, with no intention of rushing to grab food. Little Summer. Bai Ningbin showed up at the classroom door with a fancy bento box, and shouted at the top of his lungs, and Xia almost dropped the book in his hand. Brow twitched hard. The few boys left in the classroom, all looked over at once. I walked to the door with a dark expression, grabbed Bai Ningbin and dragged him to the corner, gritting my teeth. How many times have I told you? Stop calling me Xiaoming. Say it again and I will send that bar pole dance video to Aunt. Bai Ningbin froze, then laughed. It just slipped out of habit. I will definitely change. I will call you and Xia's little brother. That work. He handed over the bento box. Bro. Mom was scared you would starve at school. Had the cook make it and send it over specially. All your favorites. I took it, voice softening slightly. Thanks. Bai Ningbin waved his hand. Alright. I am going to play ball. See you at the school gate later, alright? Do not mess with your deskmate. That one is a tiger. I raised an eyebrow. Tiger. Looks more like a cat that has not woken up yet. I took the bento box back to the classroom. Those three girls were eating takeout together. When they saw the fancy 3-layer bento box in my hand, Tang's eyes nearly popped out. Wow. Ngu. Where did you get that food? Smells so good. I opened the lid. The scent of braised pork instantly filled the air. Sent from home. Tang had sharp eyes. Was that not sent by Ningbin? What is your relationship with him? I was about to eat. And paused. I sharp as a blade. What is it to you? Tang immediately shut up. Dang, this new handsome guy switches moods so fast. Just then, a shout came from the doorway. You think school rules do not apply to you? Who said you could eat takeout in the classroom? The principal and head of discipline stood at the door with dark faces. Tang trio frantically scrambled to hide the takeout. Too late. The principal pointed at the pile of takeout boxes. Evidence right there. All three of you write a 3,000-word apology letter. Xia Xiaocheng could not help it. Come on, principal. School just started. The principal stood firm. Non-negotiable. And that new male student, you stand up too. I put down my chopsticks. Stood up calmly. Tone neither humble nor arrogant. Hello, principal. I am Xia. The principal's expression immediately changed. Xia. The one the Bai family specifically asked us to look after. And this kid scored perfect marks across every subject on the placement exam. A genius among geniuses. Most importantly, that face. Just looking at it lifts your mood. The principal's stern face instantly bloomed like a flower. Voice so gentle it could drip water. Oh my, it is student Xia. You just transferred in. You probably are not used to the school food here. A homemade lunch from family does not count as takeout. This is a meal made with love. Sit down and eat. Do not let it get cold. Then turned and shouted at the others. You three, hand in your apology letters tomorrow. No letter, no entry into class. The whole class was stunned. Is this the legendary double standard in action? Does being handsome really let you get away with anything? Xia Xiaocheng was outraged. Principal, that is way too biased. This is straight-up favoritism. Shun Qingqing pushed up her glasses, looking at Xia's back thoughtfully. It seems this student has quite the background. I sat back down. After all that commotion, I did not feel like eating anymore. I turned around and saw Tang staring longingly at my bento box. Tang. Too much, I cannot finish it. This meat dish has not been touched. You all split it. Tang was overwhelmed. Wait, are you serious, Ngu? You are literally an angel. I said casually. Consider it my apology for what just happened. After the meat was divided, and Xia was left with just a little veggies and white rice. Su Baiju, who had not said a word this whole time, suddenly turned her head, eyes falling on his pitifully small portion. That is all you are eating, voice still lazy, with the hoarseness of someone just waking up. I took out a box of plain milk from my bag, stuck in a straw, slowly took a sip. His throat moved as he swallowed, the lines impossibly attractive. Small appetite. Su Baiju stared at the soft pink strawberry milk box in his hand, then looked at his cold and composed face. The contrast is unreal. I bit down on the straw. Tail of my eyes lifted slightly, a hint of barely visible provocation in my gaze. Still growing. Unlike some people, he glanced meaningfully at Su Baiju's height, who have already stopped growing. Su Baiju narrowed her eyes, stared at him dangerously, spinning her phone in her hand rapidly. Not bad. This little white rabbit has teeth. Xia Xiaocheng sighed dramatically. I am already 18 this year, born in the second half of the year. Started school a year late. Total loss. I twirled the black pen in my hand, a hint of amusement at the corner of my mouth. Then I must be the youngest here. He lifted his gaze, eyes clear yet with a bone-deep depth. Calm beyond his years. I am 16. What? Tang practically bounced out of her seat. 16. You should be in 8th or 9th grade then. My expression stayed calm. Skipped a few grades. Dead silence. 16. Height 187. Looks impossibly good. And here he is sitting with people 2 years older, in second-year science advanced class. Xia Xiaocheng gave a thumbs up. Insane. Su Baiju, who had been lazily leaning back, slowly opened her eyes. Her gaze stopped on his impossibly young, yet impossibly refined face for 2 full seconds. Only 16. Still a minor. So this is what they call a younger man. Shun Qingqing asked curiously, a top student from Ningqing. Why did you suddenly transfer to Beijing? I stood up, eyes turning cold. Private. said that and walked calmly out to the bathroom. Su Baiju watched his back, narrowed her eyes thoughtfully, then also stood up, grabbed her things. First day as a transfer student, and I took the top girl student's seat. The whole class screamed. A boy in the back row said in horror, "Teacher, that is Su Jie's seat." She also stood up, grabbed the cigarettes off the desk. "Let us go." A group of girls immediately followed. They all flooded down to the garden below. I came out of the bathroom, stood in the hallway and looked down. In the corner of the garden, smoke drifting through the air. That girl called Su Baiju leaned against the wall. Wild and arrogant vibe. After school in the afternoon, Bai Ningbin appeared at the back door with his bag, giving me a look. I packed my things and stood up. Lin Xiaobei up front was so envious his eyes turned red. "Ngu, you have it so good. No evening study sessions." I slung my bag over one shoulder. Calmly, "Still have to study at home." At the school gate, a sleek black luxury car was parked there. Driver old Zhang respectfully opened the door. Me and Bai Ningbin got in one after another. This whole scene was seen by Su Baiju's group, who were rolling out their motorcycles. "Tang Tang Tang," exclaimed. "Oh, and Xia does not live on campus either. That is such special treatment." Shun Qingqing pushed up her glasses. "The only two students in school who do not need to live on campus. Both in that car. And Xia really does have serious backing." Su Baiju swung onto her motorcycle, took off her helmet, long hair flying in the wind. She watched that car drive away into the distance, eyes deep and unreadable. And Xia, clearly more than just a bookworm. "Zhou Jie, what is the plan tonight?" Xia Xiaocheng asked excitedly. Su Baiju put on her helmet. Engine roared to life. Usual spot. All night. Inside the car. Bai Ningbin yanked off in Xia's earphones. Expression serious. "Stop listening. Big news about your deskmate Su Baiju." I frowned and rubbed my ear. "What? Can she eat me alive?" "Stop joking around." Bai Ningbin lowered her voice. "She runs Beijing. Once put someone in the ICU for a good stretch. Her family has connections on both sides. Her previous deskmates, not one lasted 3 days. The image of that wild little thing floated into my mind. Casually, "You are exaggerating. From what I see, she just likes to sleep. Not much threat at all. Do not judge by appearances." Bai Ningbin scoffed. "Just like you. Looking all gentle and refined. But secretly a speed racing, cage-fighting troublemaker. If people knew your real side, there would be a storm." "Shut up." I shot him a look. All right, just be careful." Anyway, Su Baiju is a weird one. Severely lopsided in her studies. But her science scores are always perfect. I turned my gaze back to the window, a playful smile at the corner of my mouth. Perfect in science. Interesting. Back at the Bai family home, I went straight upstairs, shut the bedroom door, took off that bookish white dress shirt, revealing well-defined muscle lines underneath. Fingers hooked at the waistband. He opened the deep part of the closet, pulled out an all-black streetwear outfit. Black cargo pants, black fitted t-shirt, outlining a perfect broad-shoulder narrow-waist figure. Put on a silver cross necklace, the cold metallic feel pressing against his collarbone. He ran a hand through his hair, spritzed on some woody cologne, finally put a black diamond stud in his left ear. In the mirror was a studious scholar. Outside the mirror was a nightlife wolf. I sent Tao Yu a message, and stepped into the neon lights of the bar. "Yo, young master," and Tao Yu slid over a whiskey. "Proper student by day, wild by night." I downed the shot. "I's dangerous. Been in character all day. Needed the release." Suddenly a commotion broke out at the entrance. Su Baiju walked in with her girl squad making a grand entrance. My pupils narrowed. Instantly lowered my head and turned away. "Holy! Su Baiju!" Tao Yu lowered his voice. "Your impossible deskmate." Su Baiju lit a cigarette, sharp gaze cutting through the crowd. Locked onto that figure. "Ah, that back looks a bit like an Xia." Xia Xiaocheng noticed. "You are thinking too much." Tang 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 rolled her eyes. "And Xia is a bookworm. That guy looks like a total nightlife player. Completely different vibe." Su Baiju exhaled a puff of smoke, gaze lingering on Xia's straight spine. For a long time, smiled at the corner of her mouth. "Really that different?" Inside the emergency exit, I straightened my collar. Heart racing slightly. That was close. Tao Yu found it hilarious. "You are running from someone like Su Baiju. How many people would kill to be near her? Do not go there." My eyes returned to their cool clarity. "She and I are not the same kind of people. Come on. I feel like she will end up in your hands sooner or later." I walked back into the night, voice dripping with mockery and arrogance. "That is because she has never met a real hunter yet." Back at the Bai house, I did not disturb anyone, went into my room, locked the door, He stripped off the streetwear reeking of smoke and alcohol. Bare upper body walked into the bathroom. Cold water poured down from overhead, streaming down his defined chest, down over his neat rows of abs, disappearing into the V-line. The young man in the mirror, hair damp and disheveled, but eyes unfathomably deep. He toweled off his hair, casually picked up his phone. Screen lit up. Notification was from Big Bro. Big Bro. Big Bro. How was today? Do not cause trouble in Beijing. I typed with one hand, fingers flying. Reply full of indifference. Do not worry. I am being good. The coursework is too easy. Even easier than the study sets you used to give me. Big Bro. Once you are done playing, come back and take over the business. Do not forget who you are. I know. So Nagy tossed aside the phone, flopped face up onto the bed, arm draped over his eyes. From birth, he had been groomed from every angle to be the perfect heir. Only here in Beijing, far from watchful eyes, could he occasionally peel off that fake mask. In his mind, he saw that figure wearing leather, cigarette dangling arrogantly from her mouth. Su Baiju. The young man's deep voice rang out softly in the darkness, with a hint of barely hidden amusement. Obviously a girl, yet somehow acts more like a guy than most guys. The next morning, I stepped into the classroom right as the morning bell rang. She had transformed back into that white shirt buttoned all the way up, gold-rimmed glasses wearing cold top student. Walking to the second-to-last row, she paused. The seat beside her was empty. Not only was Su Baiju missing, the people in the back rows. Her crew was nowhere to be seen either. Probably pulled an all-nighter last night. Lin Xiaobei at the front desk turned around, all excited and gossipy. Ngu, you are famous now. The school forum was buzzing about you last night, saying Xia is the only one in this school who has coexisted peacefully with Su Baiju for more than 24 hours straight. And tons of girls are asking for your WeChat, saying you are the ceiling of the quiet handsome type. I lazily pulled out my textbook from my bag. Boring. Her voice was flat, impossible to read. Whether it is good talk or gossip, none of it interests me. Lin Xiaobei was speechless. Felt like this Ngu was like a monk in meditation, untouched by worldly things. They just like you because you are handsome, and sit next to Su Jie. But the class is so peaceful this morning. Su Jie and the others did not come. Feels like the class lost some of its usual edge. My hand paused as I turned the page. She glanced at the empty seat beside her. No trace of that faint mint tobacco scent. No sound of that person sprawled mumbling on the desk. Somehow felt a little empty. She lowered her eyelids, hiding the emotion in her eyes. A self-mocking smile crept onto her lips. Xia, you really are something else. Just study. She coldly told Lin Xiaobei. There is an opening exam this afternoon. As for that crazy girl, whatever, come or not. First day as a transfer student, and I took the top girl's seat. Morning classes ended. I shoved my books into my bag. Lin Xiaobei trotted along happily behind me. Ngu, let us go to the cafeteria. Second floor is pricier, but the food is better. First floor is the regular stuff. The two of them walked into the first floor cafeteria, just found a corner to sit down, when Lin Xiaobei let out a surprise sound. Is that not Louis Chen and Xiao Iza? Those two never set foot anywhere but the second floor. Always talking about having refined taste. How come they are slumming it down here today? I did not look up. Calmly snapped apart my chopsticks. I have no memory for irrelevant nobodies. Like these two. They never register in my mind. Bang. A sudden crack, followed by greasy soup splashing everywhere. I paused. That once spotless white shirt. A large red oily stain spread rapidly across it. Shockingly vivid. Oh my, so sorry, Xia. Louis Chen stood at the side of the table, holding an empty plate, face, wearing a hypocritical smile, but eyes full of provocation. My hand slipped. Hope it did not burn you, Your Highness. Next to her, Xiao Iza quickly handed over some napkins, dripping with sarcasm. Do not be mad, classmate, and Louis Chen really did not mean it. Lin Xiaobei bolted upright, face red and neck thick with rage. Bullcrap. You two obviously did that on purpose. Standing that close and squeezing this way. I said nothing, slowly set down my chopsticks. Those eyes that always looked gentle and warm, now looked like they had been glazed with ice, cold enough to make people shiver. Then, I stood up, smiling at the corner of my mouth. But it made Louis Chen feel inexplicably uneasy inside. My hand slipped too. My voice was low and magnetic, but carried a terrifying weight. Before Louis Chen could even react, I picked up the steaming bowl of seaweed egg drop soup in front of me. Splash. Hand gave a slight shake. The entire bowl of soup landed perfectly, pouring down from the top of Louis Chen's head. Seaweed. Egg pieces slid down Luichen's carefully styled hair, dripping down over her horrified face, finally ruining her expensive private clothes. Turned to Lin Xiaobei, who was standing there frozen. Let us go. Lin Xiaobei snapped out of it. Ngu. Wait. Here is my new towel and slippers. Use these for now. Lin Xiaobei frantically rummaged through everything. I do not have any clothes that fit you. You are too tall. I took out my phone. Dialed a number. Tone cold, but carrying the authority of someone used to giving orders. Send a set of clothes to the male dorms. Dorm building C, downstairs. Right now. Hung up. I took off the dirty white shirt, tossed it in the trash. Walked into the bathroom. Rush of water. Water started running. 20 minutes later, I walked out of the bathroom. Changed into a freshly delivered set of black casual hoodie, thanks. And Xia took his phone back from Lin Xiaobei. Sat on the chair putting on his shoes. Lin Xiaobei was still in a daze. Ngu, the person who just delivered the clothes, was driving a Bentley. And also, you actually know Bai Ningbin, while I was in the shower. Bai Ningbin called. Lin Xiaobei staggered. Nearly bowed down. I tied my shoelaces. Stood up. Casually ran a hand through my hair. Yeah, I know her. She is my cousin. Let us go. Still have an exam this afternoon. Lin Xiaobei swallowed hard. Living the regular life. Regular person. Like I would believe that. This is clearly a rich young master secretly living undercover. The two walked out of the dorm. The afternoon opening exam was the real battlefield, and I never went in unprepared. Just took a look. Looked once. Just wanted to look 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 once. Still have an exam this afternoon. Lin Xiaobei swallowed hard. Living the regular life. Regular person. Like I would believe that. This is clearly a rich young master secretly living undercover. The two walked out of the dorm. The afternoon opening exam was the real battlefield. And I never went to battle without being prepared. Before the afternoon break in the classroom. Almost empty. I had just sat down. When Tang 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 excitedly slapped me on the shoulder. Ngu, you are famous now. The whole school is talking about you. Your heroic act of dealing with that green tea guy at noon, Luichen, is basically the school heartthrob. Questionable character though. You threw that bowl of soup on him. Watch out for revenge. My expression stayed calm. I opened my book. Voice completely unfazed. Revenge. Let them come. In my dictionary, there is no such word as click. That word. Are you hurt? Suddenly a voice sounded beside me. Low and rich in tone. With the hoarseness of someone just waking up. I glanced sideways. Met Su Baiju's gaze. Eyes deep as still water. I said flatly, I am fine. Before the words were even out, Su Baiju suddenly leaned in close. The distance between them instantly closed to where I could feel her breath. That familiar faint mint tobacco scent hit me all at once. She curved the corner of her mouth, smiling yet not smiling, watching me. Voice pressed very low, like he was muttering something under his breath. Some kind of unspeakable secret. Fair enough. For someone who stays on the right path like classmaten, you can only bully others. No one should even dare to bully you. My heart skipped a beat. Those words had a very pointed meaning. Could it be that last night at the bar, I was recognized by him? Or did he find out something? I kept my composure and gripped the pen in my hand tighter. My knuckles going slightly pale. I lifted my head. Eyes cold and perfectly innocent. Those eyes were a solid 10. What are you talking about? I don't understand. Su Baiju let out a soft laugh and stepped back, his tone still carrying that playful edge. Fine if you don't understand. Good luck on the afternoon exam. I have high hopes for you. My new deskmate said all that, then pulled out his phone and started playing games, leaving me alone, completely unsettled. This little wildcat had quite sharp instincts after all. The exam pace at Baywai was fast. In just a day and a half, Chinese, English, math, physics, chemistry, and bio, all finished. Thursday afternoon, the whole school got a half day off. I packed up my bag, ready to head home. Lin Xiaobei from the front row turned around, looking all excited. And gee, wanna go shopping together this afternoon? Sports day is coming up. I wanna go buy some clothes. For students at Baywai, Sports Day was basically a massive show-off competition. At the event, everyone dressed up to the nines, just to stand out and steal the spotlight. I shook my head. No thanks. I need to go home. Lin Xiaobei looked a bit disappointed, going back to the Bai family house. That's not that far though. I zipped up my bag. My tone flat, going back to Ningxing. While I was still saying that, Xia Xiaocheng came rushing over in a hurry, face full of admiration. And gee, I really admire you so much. That move you pulled yesterday at noon was so cool. For real, I'm calling you the ultimate bad boy legend. Shin Qingqing came over too, pushed up her glasses. Classmate, and we put something together this afternoon. Going go-karting. Want to come along? Her eyes shifting meaningfully. Glancing over at Su Baiju sitting beside me, I stood up, bag slung over one shoulder, standing tall and straight as a pine. Thanks. Maybe next time. I'm in a rush. After saying that, I strode out with those long legs of mine, and walked out of the classroom, my silhouette clean and carefree. Xia Xiaocheng watched her walk away, and couldn't help but sigh in admiration. Wow, so cool. Good looking and can fight too. Even dares to mess with someone like Louis Chen. Hey, you guys think? She cupped her face with a lovesick expression. If I were to chase her, do I even have a shot? The words barely left her mouth, when there was a loud thud. Xia Xiaocheng let out a shriek, grabbing her butt and jumping up. Ow, what the heck? Su Jie, why did you kick me? Su Baiju held her bag in one hand, her eyes dark and terrifying, radiating a heavy, suffocating pressure. She coldly narrowed her eyes at Xia Xiaocheng, her voice like it was wrapped in ice shards. You want to chase her? Do you even deserve it? Even if she's a prey I haven't had my fill of yet, she still only belongs to me. Anyone else who tries to get close is dreaming. Xia Xiaocheng looked on the verge of tears. I was just messing around. Su Jie, you're taking this way too seriously. Tang 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 was laughing gleefully on the sidelines. Serves you right. You dare joke about Su Jie's person. Su Baiju clicked her tongue impatiently, and strode out in big steps. So much nonsense. Are you coming or not? Everyone quickly scrambled to follow, afraid one slow step would earn them another kick. Out in the hallway, Su Baiju stared at the figure that had already vanished at the stairwell, playing the innocent while hiding everything. Going back to Ningxing, running home to mama like a good little kid. And Xia, you better keep that act going. On the first day of transfer, you already took the top student's seat. Don't let me catch that foxtail of yours. At the school gate after class ended, crowds of students poured out. I stood on the less crowded side, one hand in my pocket, head down, kicking at a small stone by my feet. Mother said she sent someone to pick me up, so I wouldn't have to squeeze in a car with Bai Ningbing. A pair of exquisite heels suddenly appeared in my line of sight. Following a pair of slender legs upward was an impeccably tailored Chanel couture suit. I snapped my head up. Standing before me was a person whose appearance had about a 70% resemblance to mine, but with flawless makeup and an overwhelming presence, a young woman, my twin sister. And Yumu, why is it you? I raised an eyebrow, a bit surprised, and Yumu took off her sunglasses, revealing a pair of equally stunning phoenix eyes. Even though she wore heels, standing before her younger brother who was 187 centimeters, she still had to tilt her head up slightly. She reached out and ruffled my soft black hair, smiling in a bright and captivating way, yet without a trace of seriousness. Came to check on our family's runaway little young master, to see whether or not someone made you cry. I swatted her hand away, stepped back and did a little spin. Tone cool and indifferent. Sorry to disappoint you. All in one piece. Didn't cry either. And Yumu clicked her tongue, just about to launch into her vicious older sister mode to lecture her little brother, when suddenly a voice came from nearby, a sarcastic and annoying male voice. Oh, isn't this classmate and so turns out you've got a rich sugar mama. No wonder you're so arrogant. Louis Chen came out with 2 followers, having just stepped out of the school gate, and spotted this scene. I was standing there. Beside me was someone dressed head to toe in luxury brands, with an exceptional aura and stunning looks. The sight instantly throwing him off completely. What gives? This violent person already has a pretty face to begin with, and now there's this top-tier beauty by their side too. And Xia's eyes turned icy cold, glancing at Louis Chen's face that made her want to gag. What? Didn't get enough soup yesterday, or do you want me to treat you to some foot-washing water? Louis Chen flinched, but when she spotted the rich woman beside me, her eyes shifted, and she immediately put on a pitiful victim expression, eyes glistening with tears. She looked toward Yumu, her voice soft and saccharine, enough to give anyone goosebumps. Big sister, don't be fooled by her. And Xia is nothing but a thug. Yesterday in the cafeteria, she poured hot soup all over me in front of everyone. Someone like that is completely beneath you. She's just after your money. And Yumu stood arms folded, like she was watching a circus act, watching Louis Chen perform. And Yumu lazily put her red sunglasses back on, red lips curved slightly. giving a look that said she was staring at trash. She sized Louis Chen up from head to toe, voice cold and clear, with a cutting edge that pierced right through. A bowl of soup. What a shame indeed. The water in that head of yours probably weighs about 3 pounds. You'd need a whole bucket to hold it, and even that would barely match your vibe. Also, being ugly isn't your fault. But being ugly and still coming out to scare people, now that's on you. Couldn't hold it in, and burst out laughing. Worthy of being my real sister, that combat power was absolutely legendary. Lu Yichen's face instantly turned the color of pig liver. The hand pointing at Enyumu was shaking. You all. The 2 followers behind her puffed up, ready to step in and back her up. How dare you talk like that? The Lu family is a well-known, influential family. Believe it or not, they can have your whole family blacklisted. That woman looked like she just heard the funniest joke in the world. She elegantly looped her arm through Insia's and gave a cold laugh. Blacklist? Sure, I'm waiting. Let's see if that small fortune of yours can match. Or if the infamily makes you wish you'd never started this. Having said that, she turned to look at Insia, her tone both doting and dismissive. Wasting time with these fools. Honestly, what a waste. Let's go. I'm taking you for French food. The 2 turned and walked away, their silhouettes so perfectly matched it was almost infuriating. Lu Chen stomped her foot on the spot in pure fury. Actual tears started rolling down. Get lost. All of you get lost. What are you looking at? Across the street, Su Baiju was watching me. Couldn't clearly make out what was being said. But the picture was crystal clear. That Insia, who was always so cold and distant to people, was actually letting a woman pat her head obediently. That woman had her arm looped through hers. The 2 of them talking and laughing, completely at ease with each other. What the? Xia Xiaocheng, face full of amazement and pure gossip energy. Is that Insia's girlfriend? She's way too gorgeous, an absolute top-tier woman. That figure is out of this world. Tang 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 was also staring with wide eyes. I always said NG was something else, so turns out this is their type. Wow, those 2 standing together is basically a feast for the eyes. That woman's presence. You can tell at a glance she's from serious money. Shun Qingqing pushed up her glasses and glanced sharply at Su Baiju, who as always showed absolutely nothing on her face. Su Jie was right now staring hard at the backs of those 2 figures, the veins on the back of her hand faintly rising. Su Jie, Shun Qingqing cautiously probed. This thing about your deskmate having a girlfriend, did you know? Su Baiju pulled her gaze away. Eyes completely icy. None of my business. Her voice so cold it could crack. The words barely finished. Su Baiju had already walked away, scaring Xia Xiaocheng, who almost stumbled. That's it. Tang 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 swallowed hard. Su Jie, that was definitely not none of your business. Xia Xiaocheng jumped in. That was clearly someone about to snap. The jealousy jar just spilled all over. Let's all be careful tonight. The 3 exchanged glances, and quickly followed, afraid that one slow step would get them hit. In the car that came to pick them up, sitting in the back seat, and Yuma took off her sunglasses, those eyes even sharper than Insia's. By a few degrees colder, her sharp phoenix eyes slightly, coldly sweeping over her younger brother beside her. Among the Infamily, they were famously known for siding with family over reason every time. Seeing her brother getting picked on at school, this Infamily eldest daughter had her anger meter completely maxed out. But I wasn't the least bit panicked. And Yuma lazily leaned back on the leather seat, long legs casually crossed, turning slightly to the side, lips curling into a flattering smile, yet still with that edge intact. All right, sis, stop making that face. Like I owe you 800 billion. Look at me, I'm perfectly fine. Not even a single strand of hair is missing. And Yuma gave a cold grunt and reached out to grab his chin, turning it from side to side, making sure there were no injuries before letting go. Now tell me, what was that bowl of soup about? I rubbed my chin, casually brushed it off. Nothing much. Someone with no sense insisted on spilling food on me. I don't like wasting food, so I conveniently returned that bowl of egg drop soup right back to them. Well, it was just the cafeteria. If it had been anywhere else, they'd be lying in a hospital right now. And Yuma heard it all. The originally tense expression on her face finally softened, red lips curling into a satisfied smile. Well done. The Infamily doesn't start trouble, but they never back down from it either. Next time someone like that causes trouble, just let the bodyguards handle it. Don't dirty your own hands. And Xia shrugged. That one was originally there to mess with my deskmate. Your deskmate. And Yuma raised an eyebrow. At the mention of Su Baiju, I pictured that arrogant and domineering, yet surprisingly quiet figure. I casually propped my arm on my knee, Tone casual. Su Baiju, the wild girl at Baywai, also a strange one, rumored to be a good-for-nothing delinquent. But my cousin said she scored perfect in sciences, and Yuma didn't ask further. She took out a tablet and began handling the group's documents. As one of the designated heirs of the in-group, her tactics and intelligence were notoriously feared throughout their circle. I put on my earphones and watched the scenery fly past outside the window. Su Baiju, if she scored perfect in sciences, why is her English only 70? Is she hiding it? Or is that genuinely her weak spot? You Jingyue estate, that. I'm home. I pushed the door open and walked in, tossing my bag onto the couch. From the second-floor stairway came walking down a middle-aged man in casual home clothes. In Xiangman, time had barely left its mark on his face, not much at all. Instead, it had cultivated the calm and composed bearing of a mature man, wearing a pair of thin-framed glasses, a book in his hand. Xia is back. He pushed up his glasses, his gaze warm and loving as he looked at his son. I walked over, not like when I was little, throwing myself into his arms, but instead the way men do. I gave my father a brief hug. Dad, stop inspecting me. Not only did I not lose weight, the food over there actually made me bigger. Go wash up and eat. Your mom and your brother are still in a meeting at the company. Tonight's dinner is just the two of us. I nodded, turned and went upstairs. Back in my room, I sprawled out on the bed, staring up at the ceiling. In this house, I'm the pampered little young master. But out there, I touched the black diamond earring on my earlobe. There are some people who still haven't seen my true side yet. The next morning, I deliberately got up early and showered. On the first day of transfer, I already took the top student's seat. Right on the bell for first period, I arrived at the classroom, in a clean school uniform, black hair neat, looking like that well-behaved transfer student again. And morning. Lin Xiaobei turned around. I thought you got kidnapped. And Xia lazily pulled out a textbook, expression calm. You think too much. Home is far. Slept in a bit. I instinctively glanced to the side. Su Baiju was already there. Same familiar accessories as always. Slumped over the desk. School uniform pulled over her head, radiating. Touch me and you die energy. Low pressure all around. I curved my lips slightly and quietly sat down, without waking up. The sleeping little tiger cat. Homeroom teacher Old Yao walking in carrying a stack of exam papers. He walked in, his expression serious, yet with a hint of barely suppressed excitement. The entire class immediately went quiet. The air felt like it froze solid. This was the moment of judgment. The entrance exam results are out. Old Yao scanned the entire room, his gaze lingering on the second to last row. For just a second. Then he cleared his throat. This entrance exam had very difficult questions. It was to assess your level, and also to make you all aware of where you actually stand. However, he shifted his tone. Our class has produced a beast who scored 650 total. English 145. Math 140. The class erupted. The classroom instantly exploded in noise. No way. 650. With questions this insane, someone still scored 650. English 145. Math 140. Are they even human? Everyone's eyes instinctively drifted to the back corner. Is it Sujia, in our class for math? To score that high, only she could pull that off, right? No way. Sujia's math is strong. But when has her English ever passed? Last time she only scored 70. Could it be that this summer, Sujia went and trained somewhere new? But this improvement is way too insane. In my eyes, Su Baiju was still slumped there without moving. While I sat there spinning my pen, expression completely calm. I tilted my head slightly, looking at the completely unresponsive Su Baiju beside me. A flicker of amusement passed through my eyes. The whole class thinks it's you. If you don't step up to claim it, this crown being handed to you, can you even hold it steady? The classroom was in an uproar. Everyone discussing these insane exam questions. Anyone who can score above 600 this time is basically a god. I think I'm gonna fail physics. Homeroom teacher Old Yao stepped up to the podium, slapped the results sheet down on the desk, chalk dust flying around. Quiet. Old Yao pushed up his glasses, barely able to contain his excitement, his voice even trembling slightly. This time the top 10. Our class claimed 5 spots. And furthermore, first and second place both belong to our class. First place, and Xia. Total score 710, leaving second place, a full 40 points behind. The class went absolutely wild. No way 710. How is that even possible? And Xia knocked Su Jie right off the top. and crushed it by a massive gap. This new transfer student must have been raised on exam papers. Tang 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 had been spacing out, and jolted awake when she heard that, turning to look at the back row, where the long-time undefeated number 1, Su Baiju, was just being jolted awake by this sudden turn of events. She slowly opened her eyes. In those narrow phoenix eyes, still carrying the sleepiness of just waking up, and a trace of confusion, old Yao continued twisting the knife. Su Baiju, second place this time, which is also impressive, but the gap between you and Xia, you can see for yourself. Su Baiju narrowed her eyes, gaze falling on the person beside her, who was sitting completely straight, head down reading, as if all the commotion around had absolutely nothing to do with her. Su Baiju's throat moved, and she muttered a curse under her breath. Damn, lost to this pretty little face that looked so easy to push around. I, however, almost imperceptibly furrowed my brow. Only 710. Chinese and history still didn't perform well. If the family finds out, they'll probably say I'm losing my edge again. After distributing the report cards, old Yao announced, "Old rule. Choose your seat based on your ranking. And Xia, you go first." And Xia stood up. Dozens of pairs of eyes across the class fixed on her, wanting to see where this new academic god would choose to sit. After all, who would want to sit anywhere near that Devil Queen's territory? And Xia stood with one hand in her pocket, looking over the empty classroom. Then, under everyone's stunned stares, she quietly walked back to her original seat, that corner spot in the second to last row. The reason was simple. Too lazy to move her books, and being tall, sitting in front would block others. Sitting in the back was peaceful. She had just sat down. When Su Baiju came strolling in lazily, she was second place, with the right to choose any seat except Xia's. Everyone assumed that this fierce queen who'd been knocked off the top would choose somewhere far, far away from Xia, which made sense. Yet, Su Baiju walked right up beside Xia, let out a low laugh, pulled out the chair, and sat down with a loud scrape. Desk mates again. My heart gave a little flutter. I glanced at her sideways, voice flat. Didn't you say you don't like having a desk mate? There are so many empty seats in this class. Why squeeze in here? Are you not right in the head? Su Baiju rested her chin on one hand, staring straight at me, like she was trying to see right through me. I used to not like it, but now, she suddenly leaned in close, her warm breath spilling against Xia's ear, her voice carrying a playful and probing tone. I want to learn something from you. How to switch between being a good student and a delinquent, back and forth like that, and still score this high. My voice completely unbothered. I don't know what you're talking about. As for the scores, I leaned in slightly, eyes carrying a hint of arrogance. That's talent. You can't have what I was born with. Su Baiju noticed the slight flush that crept up around my ears, and her smile deepened. Quite the mouth on you. There's plenty of time ahead. We'll take this slow. The others filed in one by one. Lin Xiaobei with her average grades, just to stay close to the gossip, shamelessly chose the seat right in front of Xia. Tang 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 sat in front of Su Baiju. As for the seat behind Xia, it was taken by the tallest guy in class. Kong Ping was a sports student, built with solid muscle all over, famously known as a total hopeless romantic, who was madly chasing the cold and elegant Shin Qingqing. Su Jie. Look at the way Kong Ping is acting. His eyes are practically glued to Shin Jie. Tang 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 sat down and immediately started gossiping. Old Yao walked back into the class to announce some big news. The entrance exam has shaken everything up. Coming up is the sports day at the end of September. Everyone prepare well. This is the last big celebration of high school. The class immediately stirred with excitement. Tang 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 turned and nudged Su Baiju. Su Jie, let's ditch it again this year. Su Baiju spun her pen, said nothing, but her ears were subtly tuned to what was happening beside her. Lin Xiaobei was excitedly pulling Xia into a discussion. And gee, what events are you signing up for? Basketball. 1 kilometer race. With legs like yours if you don't run. What a waste. I'm not in the mood. We'll see. Doesn't really matter to me. Lin Xiaobei sighed in frustration. Then suddenly her eyes lit up, like she just thought of a brilliant idea. Hey, and gee, if you don't want to compete that's fine. I think you could run to be our class's flag bearer. And Xia paused in her movements. Flag bearer. Isn't that a girl's job? Lin Xiaobei with a look that said, you clearly don't know about this. Her expression said it all. The flag bearer is actually a tradition at our Beiwai. They're basically the face of the entire class. Usually the girl with the best looks gets chosen. But she looked Xia up and down, That cold and otherworldly face of Insia's, I think. With looks like yours and G, you could completely break that tradition and show the whole school what it really means to be impossibly good-looking. I gave her one word in response. Get lost. Su Baiju beside me suddenly burst out laughing. She turned her head, her gaze completely unrestrained, scanning over her from head to toe. Finally, landing on the koi emblem on Insia's bag, she lazily added fuel to the fire. I think it works actually. If our classmate here put on a suit and held the sign, then those judges would probably be so mesmerized they couldn't even walk straight. 10,000 alpacas stampeded through my mind. This deskmate is absolutely impossible. The classroom was in complete chaos. Old Yao knocked on the blackboard. On the first day of transfer, I already took the top student's seat. This sports day, our experimental class. Not only should our grades be top, our image can't fall behind either. For the flag bearer candidate, everyone actively sign up. The so-called flag bearer is basically the leader who walks at the front of the procession. This position at Baywai, whoever is most handsome or most beautiful gets the spot. It was basically the officially certified face of the class. Chao Iza straightened up. Back in freshman year, he was the flag bearer, relying on that decent-looking face of his and his dancing talent. He had collected quite a few admirers. This year, he was determined to take the spot again. However, the chatter from around him was like flies, buzzing right into his ears. It's definitely Enxia. That face, those long legs, standing there, is basically a living advertisement. Exactly. Even Sujie is willing to sit as their deskmate. That already says everything. No further explanation needed. I watched someone hand over a vote for Enxia. I want to see him in a suit looking absolutely stunning. Chao Iza's face turned completely green. The pen in his hand almost snapped in half. Enxia. Again Enxia. What gives this transfer student the right to steal all the spotlight from day one? After talking it over, they decided to hold a talent competition. Whoever gets the most votes wins. Chao Iza was the first to rush up to the podium. Since no one wants to go first, let me break the ice. He confidently had a classmate play a currently trending K-pop boy group song. The music started. Chao Iza began to move. To be fair, but compared to someone at my level, came across a little overdone and try-hard. The song ended. Scattered and unenthusiastic clapping came from below. Chao Iza wiped his sweat and looked challengingly at the second to last row. At that pen-spinning daydreamer sitting back there. Anyone else want to try? The whole class went silent. Nobody wanted to go up and play the backdrop. Lin Xiaobei nudged Enxia. And Ji, go up there and destroy him. Don't let him get too cocky. Enxia didn't even look up. Coldly flipped a page. Not interested. Looks like watching a circus monkey. Tang tang tang. Always looking to stir things up. Never one to back down. Shouted at the top of her lungs. Enxia, everyone wants to see you. Come on, give it a try. Maybe you'll even knock Chao Iza right off. Chao Iza's face darkened, then immediately plastered on a fake smile. Classmate, and since everyone's so eager to see, drop the act already. Come up and show us what you've got. Surely you're not someone who can't do anything at all, right? That was a blatant provocation. If Enxia didn't dare go up, then she was a coward. Boys and girls across the whole class started chanting, Enxia, Enxia. The chants rising in waves, each louder than the last. I set my book down with a measured motion, and the room instantly fell quiet for a second. I swept a cold gaze across the podium, at that clueless clown standing up there, insisting on sticking his face out, for me to hit. Fine, I'll oblige. I stood up. With one hand I undid 2 buttons at my collar, revealing a sliver of refined collarbone, and strode up to the podium with long confident steps. Each step felt like it landed right on everyone's heart. No need to change the music. Enxia's voice low and magnetic. She said casually to the multimedia operator. Same song as before. The intro played. The same song, but with Enxia standing there. Her presence completely unleashed. She didn't act like Chao Iza, showing off and preening. Instead she just lowered her head slightly. Her slender fingers, moving with the strands of hair across her forehead. Right on beat. The moment the music hit its peak, she moved. In that moment, the originally cold and sharp choreography was brought to life with something extra. A raw power and presence that wasn't there before. Every joint precisely controlled. Every spin landing with exact force. As precise as solving a complex physics problem, yet also filled with blood-pumping hormonal energy. Dark and fierce all at once. My gaze expressionless. Yet, in the split second of a turn, through the messy strands of hair. I threw a devastatingly sharp look at the audience below. It was the contempt of a king, as if saying, I am the rules. On the final beat, and Xia pressed one hand to the floor, and rose with a clean sharp motion. Then finished with a close-up gesture, lips curling into, I'm getting a nosebleed. Help me. Back in the corner, Su Baiju had only been watching casually, but now his pen had. He stared hard at the boy on stage radiating a deadly charm. Damn. Su Baiju's throat tightened. His expression went dark instantly. He kicked Tang Tang's chair in frustration, head lowered to hide that burning urge in his eyes, that overwhelming impulse to drag him off stage and pull him close. Tang was still screaming. Sis Su. And Xia is absolutely insane. I want to be her #1 fan. I am going crazy over her. Su Baiju gave her a cold sideways glance. He even used the same move with the same BGM, obliterating him instantly. The vote result was no surprise, and Xia was unanimously elected as the sign holder. I stepped off stage, expression already back to its usual calm, as if that dance king who just blew the whole room away was not me at all. Passing by Chao Yi's side, he did not flinch, just turned his head slightly. His voice was cool and mocking. So this is what you are so proud of? That is all you have got. Back to my seat. Lin Xiaobei ran over with a face full of admiration. Bro, and you have been hiding your skills. What you just did was insane. I think you could debut as center right now. I fastened my collar button, put my gold-rimmed glasses back on, hiding the sharp edge in my eyes. Tone flat. Not interested. Too loud. Su Baiju beside me suddenly stretched out a leg, blocking my path. I raised an eyebrow. Su Baiju rested his chin in one hand, eyes slightly red at the corners, gaze roaming over me like a hook. His voice was low. On the first day of transferring here, you stole the top student seat, with a hint of gritted teeth fury. And Xia, just how many surprises are you hiding that I do not know about? Keep showing off like this and I will not be able to hold myself back. And Xia had just taken a sip of water, when a low voice carrying some attitude drifted into his ear. You absolute legend. Is there anything you cannot do? Oh, come on. And Xia nearly choked. He turned and glared hard at that grinning girl next to him just begging to get hit. He slowly let out one word. Get lost. Su Baiju raised an eyebrow. His smile only deepened. Tang up front was shook. Oh my god. Is that not the same line sis Su said to bro and on day one? Is this what they call turning the tables on someone? Deep stuff. Bro and is legendary. Homeroom teacher Old Yao slapped his desk. Quiet. We just split into classes, so I will appoint the committee now. I have reviewed everyone records from grade 10. Class president, Su Baiju. Vice president, Chao Yiza. Academic rep, and Xia. Literature rep, Lin Xiaobei. Sports rep, Lu Yang. Discipline rep, Zhang Yuanming. Su Baiju lazily raised a hand, voice dripping with total indifference. Teacher, being class president is too much hassle. It is annoying. I do not want to do it. Old Yao had already seen this coming. He smiled and said, I know you are busy, Miss Su. Just keep the title, show your face, and that is enough. Let the vice president and academic rep handle the real work. Su Baiju lowered her hand. She glanced sideways at me, a flicker of amusement crossing her eyes. Fine then. I will trouble the academic rep to help out more. I ignored him, looked away, thinking, want to make me your personal assistant? Keep dreaming. The end of class bell rang. The classroom instantly exploded. Tang spun around, hands pressed together, with an utterly devoted expression. Broen, bestie, can you add me on WeChat? I want to see a legend moments feed. And Xia gave a helpless laugh. That smile was like ice melting, making several girls nearby flush red. I took out my phone, pulled up my QR code, and invited them to scan. Tang scanned it at lightning speed. I was about to put my phone away when a slender pale hand suddenly pressed down on my wrist. The fingertips were slightly cool with a smooth, delicate touch. Su Baiju leaned in with his phone aimed at my QR code. His voice was lazy. While we are at it. And Xia tried to pull his hand back but was held down firmly. Su Baiju finished scanning, sent the request, and a smug smile curled at the corner of his mouth. Thanks. The seatmate was approved. Tang saw in Xia WeChat name and burst out laughing. Wonton ball? Ha ha ha. Bro, and the gap between your vibe and your username is just too much. I thought you would go by Lone Wolf or something cool like that. Lin Xiaobei also laughed. Wonton ball. Ha ha ha. Can I call you Wonton bro from now on? And Xia face darkened, gritting his teeth. No, that is a nickname. Only my family calls me that. Tang was scrolling through in Xia moments when suddenly he gasped. Holy crap, the whole class went quiet. Tang waved. Nothing, nothing, carry on. Then lowered his voice, and turned the phone toward Lin Xiaobei. Look at this, holding a helmet, that overwhelming attitude and wild ambition just radiating off the screen. It was practically gonna crack it open. Lin Xiaobei covered her mouth. I am done for. He is way too hot. Bro, and were you always this wild? Su Baiju also pulled out his phone and tapped on that photo, fingertips lightly tracing the boy face on screen. Purple hair, motorbike. Of course it is you. That silhouette that night. Lin Xiaobei was suddenly inspired. Broen, this look is way too cool. I also want to get my ears pierced. I want to be cool too. Tang 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 shot back. That is cool. You would just end up looking like a pot lid. Taking a closer look, he drew a sharp breath. Holy crap. 2 on the left earlobe, 1 on the helix, 1 on the tragus, 2 on the right earlobe, and 1 special stud in the conch. 7 piercings total. Lin Xiaobei was completely stunned. Broen, did it not hurt? That conch stud looked so painful. And Xia touched his earlobe carelessly. Forgot about it long ago. Got them when I was rebellious as a kid. Random piercings. Su Baiju looked up, gaze falling on those ears full of little studs. His throat tightened slightly. My phone vibrated. I looked down and found I had been added to a group called Grade 11 Class 1 Committee. Added by Su Baiju. I turned to look at him. Su Baiju was resting his chin in one hand, eye corners tilted slightly, smiling like a cunning fox. Dear academic rep, you are in the group now. Looking forward to working with you. I stared at those eager eyes of his, my heart skipping a beat for no reason. I quickly looked away and silently cursed. That seductive menace. She is clearly a girl, so why does she act more like a rogue than I do? On the first day of transferring here, I stole the top student's seat. The math teacher walked into class, with a rare smile on his face. Everyone let out a sigh of relief, enough to make the whole class jump off a building together. Then the mood shifted. His gaze zeroed in on the second-to-last row. That cool-looking boy. Besides Su Baiju, this new transfer student is also a serious one. You there, stand up. I set down my pen and slowly stood, back straight, dressed neat and clean, standing out as refreshingly pleasant among the chaotic crowd. Chun Zai gave a satisfied nod, smiling like a fox who spotted fat prey. You and Su Baiju are seatmates. One is a veteran perfect scorer, the other is the new academic god. Powerful pair. Any interest in being my math class rep? The entire class drew a sharp breath. Who is Chun Zai? The most sharp-tongued and demanding teacher in the whole school, famous for being absolutely brutal. He had never even spared a glance at male students before. This time he actually personally invited Xia. Goes to show, good looks really do equal justice. I was flattered and about to speak when a low husky female voice suddenly cut in. No need. Su Baiju was leaning back in her chair, spinning a pen, not even lifting her eyelids. Her tone was completely matter-of-fact. He is already the academic rep, that is plenty. Teacher Chun, please stop overworking your labor force. Implication. This is my person. Do not wear him out. Chun Zai paused for a moment, then smiled meaningfully. All right then, Su Baiju. Since that is the case, he can also help me collect homework and cover the class rep duties. Sit down. After I sat down, Tang 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 immediately leaned over excitedly. Broen, you are legendary. Even the Terminator smiled like crazy at you, and Sis Su actually covered for you too. This treatment is something else. Cannot believe she helped you dodge extra work. Unreal. I kept my expression calm, tone steady, with a hint of matter-of-fact self-admiration. Cannot help it. Being good-looking has its advantages. Su Baiju turned his head, watching me pull off that completely serious narcissistic attitude. A deeply amused smile curled at his mouth. This kid really does remind me of him. Chun Zai started explaining problems. I listened half-heartedly since I already knew most of it. Only the last fill-in question had me stuck. I kept trying different approaches on my scratch paper. The substitutions kept coming out wrong. Where was the mistake? I was getting frustrated when suddenly, I felt a pair of eyes locking onto me. I jerked my head up and found Su Baiju had leaned over, chin in one hand, half draped across the desk. Those dangerously sharp eyes staring right at me. I instinctively leaned back, heart skipping a beat. What are you staring at? Su Baiju curled his lips and extended a slender index finger, tapping on my scratch paper. Black nail polish on the fingernails, which made him look especially striking. Right here you flipped the sign. Idiot. I looked down. Sure enough, a careless mistake. The tips of my ears flushed with a barely visible pink. A perfect scoring academic genius, tripped up by such a shallow hole, and got caught red-handed by this rogue of a girl. What is the matter? Su Baiju, seeing I was not responding, suddenly leaned even closer. warm breath spilling onto my neck, carrying that intoxicating mint and tobacco scent. His voice was low and teasing. Blushing, attracted by big bro charm? I slammed my scratch paper shut and coldly spat 2 words. Narcissist. But those ears, red enough to drip blood, completely gave me away. Su Baiju laughed even more boldly, like a cat who had successfully stolen a heart. Such a pure little thing. So fun to mess with. The next study hall, everyone was correcting their exam mistakes. Tang 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 hugged her paper with a miserable face and turned around begging. Sis Su, save me. Is this exam even designed for humans? I cannot do 2/3 of it. Let me copy. Just this once, explain it to me. Then casually asked me, Broen, how did you score? I was staring at the physics section, did not even look up. Did not do well. Only 255. Tang 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 rolled her eyes at me. Show off. Absolute show off. You call 255 a bad score? What does that make someone barely scraping pass marks then? Garbage? Tang 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 had no choice but to keep clinging to Su Baiju. Still gotta rely on Sis Su. Even though her English is absolute trash. Her math and science are always perfect. God tier. This is what you call God closed one door for you, but then blew the whole roof off for you. Sis Su brain is something else. Humanity's disaster, science genius. This is probably what they call. I set down my pen, pushed up my glasses, and coldly finished the line. This is called selective genius. Tang 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 could not hold it in and burst into loud barbell laughter. Someone actually daring to call Su Baiju a selective genius. Broen, you have got real guts. Su Baiju had been spinning her pen. Hearing this, she paused. She slowly turned her head, those pretty eyes narrowing slightly, staring at me dangerously. I showed zero fear and calmly met her gaze, eyes clear and innocent, as if stating a simple objective fact. Su Baiju stared for a moment, then suddenly laughed out of irritation. She stretched out a leg under the desk and lightly kicked my shin. Voice hoarse and lazy, carrying a faint threat. And Xia, you are asking for trouble. When you come begging me to teach you physics, I will make you pay for this. I stared at those bright red X marks on my physics paper, brow tightly furrowed. I pulled out my phone, took a photo, and sent it to a 3-person group called Infirmary Empress Dowager and her pets, Wonton and Xia. All long-answer physics questions went down in flames. This is beyond the syllabus, right? Devastated, cracking, second sis, and Yuma. Oh wow, even our little genius is struggling today. Does not match your level at all. Wonton, shut up. Do not tell Big Bro and Yao Mom. Explain it to me quick. Second sis, hold on, let me have a look. The words had barely fallen when a face carrying the scent of mint suddenly appeared close. On the first day of transferring here, I stole the top student seat. A face carrying the scent of mint suddenly appeared close. Su Baiju had one hand braced on my desk corner, a playful smile on her face. Looking to your brother for help? Why not ask me instead? I will teach you. The whole class instantly went dead silent. Everyone held their breath, looking at this girl, who dared to flirt with the cold-hearted academic god. I looked up coldly, giving the same familiar word. Get lost. Tang 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 and Shin Ching Ching were desperately stifling laughter. Someone actually daring to tell Su Demon Head to get lost, and Xia is literally the first in history. Su Baiju was not the least bit angry, and actually laughed even more brightly. She snatched the paper right out of my hand. Tell me to get lost? You have not got what it takes. If you do not want to ask me, then listen up. She was not going to force it. She held a red pen, body slightly leaned forward, almost half her body looming over me. That dominant cool fragrance instantly surrounded me. Stop glaring at me. Look at the problems. She tapped the paper with her pen tip. Her tone was still arrogant, but clearly 100 times more patient than she was with Tang Tang Tang. These last 2 questions. Core concept is dynamic force analysis. Too many variables. Just set your X and Y axes, build a coordinate system, then break down the forces. She scrawled several key formulas on my paper. Sharp, bold strokes, with an arrogant energy to them. Got it? I had been resisting, but when I saw those lines of formulas, my eyes lit up instantly. Brilliant minds share the same wavelength. Just one nudge, and everything clicked for me. I reached over and took back the paper. My fingertips accidentally grazed Su Baiju's hand. The touch was slightly cool. Thanks. I know what to do now. The classmates around us were completely confused, clearly unable to follow the brainwave exchange between top students. I quickly solved the problem and perfectly matched the answer. Just then, the group chat exploded. Big Bro and Jin Yen. Little Xia, photos. Photos. Wonton Big Bro. Second sis cannot handle it. Second sis, fine. This problem has some level to it. I have asked Big Bro. Big Bro. The problem setters from the Northern University team are interesting. blocking our little Xia. Seems like a 70 in physics, is understandable this time. Wonton and Yumo, you loudmouth. I did not count the score. Second sis. Work backwards from wrong answers. That is obvious. Big bro. Where do you want to go for the national holiday? Little Xia, be good. Big bro will take you somewhere to unwind. Wonton, big bro really is the best. I put away my phone and let out a helpless sigh. Outside, I am an elite academic god. But at home, I am the sibling at the very bottom of the food chain, completely controlled by two older brothers. I looked up and met Tang staring at me like a lost puppy. Bro, and help me. Sis Su is too scary. I cannot follow anything. You are the only one who can save us now. The whole class was also staring at him pitifully, like a flock of starving little birds. I pushed up my glasses, stood up with a helpless sigh. Fine. I grabbed the paper and walked up to the podium. Posture straight, aura cool. In that moment, I did not look like a student, more like a young professor. There is still time in study hall, so let me run through the long answer questions. The boy voice was clear and magnetic. Logic crisp. Pace steady. Biology and chemistry are more basic. Focus on memorizing these lab standards. Now for physics. This problem is actually a trap. I picked up chalk and drew a diagram on the board. Unlike Su Baiju, genius-style leaps of logic, my explanation was step-by-step and accessible. The whole class below was struck by sudden understanding all at once. Below, Su Baiju rested her chin in one hand, pen spinning fast. She was not listening to the problem at all. Those eyes just kept staring at my profile as I explained. He is actually enticing. She let out a dumb, infatuated sound. How come I never noticed before? Listening to class can be this captivating, especially when he is the one teaching. While I was mid-explanation, I set down the chalk and dusted off my hands, sweeping my gaze across the class. That is roughly it. Any questions? The whole class was dead silent, everyone frantically copying notes. Damn, Su Baiju muttered. This physics explanation was making her head hurt, but this kid voice was seriously amazing. Right as the end of class bell rang, I finished the last problem and set down the chalk, expression clearing up. Anything you still do not get, feel free to come ask me after class. I went back to my seat and sat down, picked up my thermos and took a sip. Then a playfully teasing voice drifted over from beside me. Teacher, and there is one problem I do not get. Can you? I nearly choked on my water. I turned sideways, looking at Su Baiju in utter disbelief. This person who uses exam papers as desk mats is actually asking a question. I looked down. It was an English paper covered in red marks. I said flatly, "You want me to teach you?" Su Baiju rested her chin in one hand. "Let us make a deal. You teach me Chinese and English, I teach you math and physics. We balance each other." She paused, then extended a finger and lightly tapped the back of Xia hand. "And on top of that, every morning big sis will cover your milk." HM? Little kid. My expression went cold. Little kid. I hate it most when people bring up my age. Especially this girl rogue, who is only 2 years older than me. Who is a little kid? I let out a cold laugh and pulled my hand back. "And why should I listen to you?" Su Baiju leaned in a bit, gaze provocative, using reverse psychology masterfully. "What? You scared? Class rep, are you afraid I will bring my humanities up and kick you off the top spot? Was it not someone who just said, if you do not understand, feel free to ask me? Going back on your word. What kind of man is that?" My grip on the water cup tightened. This woman mouth is truly venomous. But the one thing I have never been able to handle is reverse psychology. I took a deep breath and met his provocative gaze, gritting my teeth. Who is scared? Deal. Done. In the following days, a strange sight appeared in class 1 of the science track. Every morning, the feared Su Demon Head would show up on time carrying a bottle of strawberry milk and swagger over to place it on Xia desk. Then the two of them, heads together, were actually studying. Tang was completely stunned. "Sis Su, are you serious? Have you actually gone straight?" Su Baiju did not even look up, still spinning her pen and memorizing vocabulary. Obviously, around the same time, the school forum absolutely exploded. Breaking news. Su Baiju has been won over by the new transfer student, delivering love milk every day, and even started studying. This has to be true love. Comment 1, holy crap. That cunning fox guy actually has moves this strong. He can even tame a wild horse like Sis Su. Comment 2. Am I the only one who thinks Xia is totally playing both sides, stringing along by Ningbing on one end and hooking up with Su Baiju on the other? Comment 3. Agreed. And Xia looks all high and mighty but is actually just a pretty boy trying to climb up the social ladder. Right? Comment 4. Two-timing scumbag. And Xia, someone from the class next door is looking for you. During break, Someone called from the door. I set down my pen and walked out. The moment I showed my face, before I could even see who it was, smack, a sharp crack, my face was struck sideways, a handprint instantly surfacing on my fair cheek. The hallway went dead silent. Everyone was stunned. On the first day of transferring, I stole the top student seat. The hallway went dead silent. Everyone froze. Louis Chen stood in front of me, looking down with arrogance, eyes full of jealousy and resentment. And Xia, you shameless person. Not satisfied with leading by Ningbing on, now you are messing with Su Baiju too? I slowly turned my head, touched my cheek, tasting a trace of blood. Those eyes, normally clear, now looked like a frozen abyss. A hand appeared from nowhere, grabbing Louis Chen's wrist and flinging it aside hard. Su Baiju stepped in front of me, radiating a violent energy. Looking down at Louis Chen from above, staring at him, voice as cold as someone who owes millions in debt. Are you out of your mind? Touch my person. Louis Chen was suddenly shaken by Su Baiju's utterly fearless expression. Su Baiju, you saw it. He hit me. Look at my face. I stood behind Su Baiju and watched Louis Chen. Pathetically bad acting. I could not help rolling my eyes. This guy spends all his youth chasing girls. Total waste of a good life. Su Baiju casually shook off her hand and pulled out a tissue, wiped the spot where she had touched Louis Chen, as if she had gotten dirty. Hit you? Hitting you is plastic surgery. No brain? Go read more books. Look at yourself in a puddle first. Get lost. I could not hold back and burst out laughing. That laugh tugged at the bruise on my face. Stung badly, but my eyes were full of amusement. Su Baiju snapped her head around, eyes narrowing dangerously. You have got nerve laughing. Your face is swollen. I shrugged carelessly. It is funny though. Did not expect Su Xiaohua to have such flair when she talks trash. Su Baiju stared at me, at that glaring red mark on my face. An inexplicable fire flaring up inside. Somehow worse than if she herself had been hit. Without a word she grabbed my wrist and dragged me away. Shut up. Come with me to the nurse office. I was being yanked along stumbling. Su Baiju, it is fine. Just a small scratch. Shut up. Su Baiju did not look back, walking fast. Move faster. I need an ice pack. Do I need an x-ray? Should I call an ambulance? I was done for, wanted to disappear into the floor. This is way too embarrassing. The school nurse was startled by Su Baiju's intensity. She leaned in and looked at the red mark on Xia's handsome face, then twitched the corner of her mouth. Hey Su, it is just a surface bruise. Put an ice pack on it and it will fade in 10 minutes. No need to call an ambulance. Ningbing, voice before person. By Ningbing burst into the nurse office with a bang, her heels rattling the whole floor. One look at my face and she instantly blew up. I just went to the bathroom for a second. Who dared touch you? She cupped my face, hissing in distress. That scumbag Louis Chen hitting this hard. If uncle finds out, this school will be leveled to the ground. You are not even going to class anymore, transfer immediately. I helplessly pushed away her hand. Calm. Transfer for what? I did not lose out. I gave him 2 slaps back. We are even. A slender pale hand suddenly reached over and took the ice pack from the nurse hands. Su Baiju stood expressionless by the bed. Eyes deep. I will do it. She held the ice pack, movements unbelievably gentle, carefully pressing it against my swollen red cheek. My fault, I will take responsibility. Bai Ningbing crossed her arms. Though she normally found Su Baiju way too unrestrained, she did not hold back this time. Su Baiju, keep your rotten love rivals in check. And Xia is our whole family precious treasure. If his dad actually gets angry, leveling this school is no joke. I slightly furrowed my brow, looking up at Su Baiju with a small reassuring look. Do not listen to his bluffing. But Su Baiju looked deeply at me, the faintest smile at the corner of her mouth, eyes unusually serious. I believe you. Whatever you say, I believe it. Bai Ningbing rolled her eyes. Fine. Since you are here, I will not play third wheel. Next class is Teacher Yao. Su Baiju, you better take good care of him. And with that she strutted out on her heels. Su Baiju sat on the bed edge, watching Xia long legs swing. She suddenly asked, So, Bai Ningbing is your cousin? I did not deny it. Yeah. Her dad is my mother cousin. Otherwise family would not let me come to Beijing alone. Su Baiju stared at my refined profile, throat moving. Why come to Beijing? I did not turn. A flash of suppressed light crossed my eyes, a small smile at my lips. Because I did not want to be controlled. Su Baiju looked at that smile, heart skipping a beat. Did not want to be controlled. Once you fall into my hands, you will have no say anymore. After the ice pack, the two had just reached the office door when Teacher Yao called them in. The atmosphere in the office was heavy. Teacher Chen from the next class was also there. Standing beside them was Louis Chen. Louis Chen was covering his face, still complaining. Teacher, Look at my face. And Xia is way too violent. Teacher Yao looked at me. And Xia, what happened? Did you hit him? I stood there, back straight, eyes calm and open. Did not even bother defending myself. Yes, 2 slaps. Tone as calm as saying, ate lunch. Louis Chen heard this. Teacher, see. She admitted it. Someone this violent must be punished. Self-defense. A cold female voice cut off Louis Chen words. Su Baiju stepped forward, blocking me completely. Hands in pockets. Gaze sweeping over Louis Chen, turning to address both teachers. My fault. And Xia was kindly tutoring my English. I taught him physics. Someone could not handle their jealousy and came charging up. My person got hit. What is wrong with fighting back? I believe this falls under the mutual aid group right of self-defense. I stood behind her, watching that figure narrow but completely upright. Almost laughed. Clear conscience, self-defense. But honestly, being protected like this felt pretty good. Teacher Yao and Teacher Chen exchanged a look. Louis Chen had been the one to start trouble. Plus, the fact that Su Baiju, the science class queen, had actually started studying seriously on her own. This was monumental news. Teacher Yao immediately made the call. Since it was a misunderstanding, let us drop it. Louis Chen, do not go stirring things up anymore. Su Baiju and Xia, go back and study properly. Louis Chen was so furious his face turned green, but could only swallow it down. Why is Su Baiju protecting that pretty boy so much? Back in the classroom, I returned to my seat and found 2 warm boiled eggs sitting on my desk. On the first day of transferring here, I stole the top student's seat. Back in the classroom, I returned to my seat and found 2 extras sitting on my desk. What exactly is your relationship with Bai Ningbing? He specifically sent these eggs and told us to take care of you, and the forum has been going around about you too. Case cracked. The whole class perked their ears up. I peeled an egg, tone casual, and dropped a bombshell. Family. The whole class. Tang 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 gasped. Holy crap. The Bai heiress is your cousin? Does that not make you? I gave him a faint glance. What do I not look at? Su Baiju sitting beside me watched me peel the egg, then suddenly reached over, took the peeled egg right out of my hand, and naturally popped it in her own mouth. Under my stunned gaze, she raised an eyebrow and smiled with full attitude. Thanks, seatmate. Consider this a protection fee. I stared at my empty hand, ears going slightly red, gritting my teeth. Su Baiju, you have got some nerve. I leaned back and peeled the warm remaining egg, lightly rolling it over my swollen cheek. The motion was casual, but on that cold, handsome face, even applying an egg looked oddly refined. He calls me little bro, I call him big sis. What does that make us? You figure it out. I shot a cool glance at Tang 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 up front. Tang 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 covered her mouth in horror. Then her brain short-circuited and she blurted out, please big bro, I will be your sugar baby. And Xia was speechless. He just tossed the remaining unpeeled egg straight into Tang 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 arms. Tone flat. Eat more. Might help with that brain of yours. It is clearly full of nothing useful. Lin Xiaobei had finally heard enough. She rolled her eyes. Tang Tang Tang, are you stupid? That is bro an actual cousin. Go eat your egg and stop embarrassing yourself. Tang 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 eyes went wide, hitting her suddenly. Oh my god, that is a big secret today. So they are a rich family siblings duo. I did not bother with these clowns, but privately I completely agreed with Su Baiju earlier words. Tang 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 definitely bought her way into this advanced class. On the way home, Bai Ningbin had an early guitar lesson. The 2 sat in the back of a luxury car. Lucky uncle and auntie are not here. If they saw your face, they would storm straight to school. Bai Ningbin stared at the red mark on my face, furious enough to smash the car. That Louis Chen hit so hard. Do not let me run into him next time. I held up my phone and checked myself, brow furrowing. Gotta put some medicine on it when I get back. Otherwise, if I video call and it shows, the old man will explode. Not that I am worried about the pain. Just feels embarrassing to have my face messed up like this. Oh no. Bai Ningbin suddenly exclaimed and shoved the phone in my face. Ningbing, look at the school forum. These people are insane. Breaking news, and Xia admits Bai Ningbin is his sugar mommy. During study hall, Tang 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 asked about the relationship, and Xia did not deny it, and ate the love eggs Bai Ningbin sent. Confirmed. The new school heartthrob is a kept boy. The comment section instantly piled up hundreds of floors. Comment 1, holy crap. Kept man. Looks so classy. Turns out he is into this. Comment 2. To be fair, Bai Ningbin is rich and stylish. If I were in Xia, I would go for it too. Comment 3. Playing both sides. Does Su Baiju know? She would tear him apart. Comment 4. What a waste of that face. Turns out he is a pretty boy freeloader. Bai Ningbin's head was practically steaming. Are these people missing a brain? You send me an egg and suddenly I am a sugar mommy? What kind of sugar mommy sends boiled eggs to her pretty boy? I scrolled through the posts, completely unbothered, even quietly chuckling once. Let them talk. It is not like it costs me anything. This kind of pointless gossip I have always been too lazy to care about. But the narrative flipped faster than a tornado. A few minutes later, a verified comment got pushed to the very top. Tang 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 verified. Breaking news if you want, but do not spread lies. That was only half the story. They are cousins. By Ningbin is an Xia female cousin. Everyone brain is full of garbage all day. You did not even listen to the whole thing. Speechless. Instantly, the whole vibe shifted. Nice. Front row for the drama. I knew it. Looking this similar, it is obviously a family gene thing, top tier looks. Doesn't Xia need a brother-in-law? I want to apply. I want to be an Xia sister-in-law. Wait, no. I want to be his girlfriend. I looked at the screen, raising an eyebrow. Tang 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 efficiency is something else. He opened WeChat and sent Tang 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 a message. Wonton ball thanks. Top investigative reporter you are. Comment. Oh no. The idol actually responded, big cry, comment. If I had not clarified, Sis Su would have had a knife at my throat by now. Shaking with fear, and Xia fingers paused. Su Baiju. What does this have to do with her? Did that temperamental little wildcat force Tang 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 to clarify? I stared at the screen, a barely there smile tugging at my lips. Pretty protective. Back at my house, washed off the day exhaustion. I put on a loose black home outfit, hair tied back casually, sat at my desk and logged into my main Weibo account, though nobody knows my real identity, through sharing high-quality photography, artwork, and the occasional close-up of my hands. I had already built up over 500,000 followers. Wonton here on Weibo, long time no see. Any recommendations for the national holiday? Posted with a casual photo of me at my desk, fingers wrapped around a pen. A physics competition book opened beside me. The comments section instantly flooded. Missing person finally returns. These hands. I am done for. Hand lover paradise. These hands look like they are great at gaming too. And also very good at, Where have you been, blogger? Have not posted lately. I picked a few to reply to. Transferred. Studying in Beijing. Reply. Busy with exams lately, no time. Fan. When are you going to show your face? We want to see a handsome guy. I replied. Afraid of being too handsome for you. After replying, I tossed my phone aside, took out some ointment, and faced the mirror. Fingertip dabbed a little cool medicine, and applied it to the red mark on my cheek. The boy in the mirror, eyes cold and striking, but with an unyielding fierceness underneath. Physics, huh? I refuse to believe I cannot crack this. I picked up that physics paper with only 70 points again. Eyes focused and sharp. Su Baiju is right. If I do not put in the effort, what right do I have to make that insufferable woman call me teacher? And late at night, my phone on the desk vibrated. I pressed my temple, brow furrowing slightly. Fingers swiped open the screen. Chat. Su Baiju. Teacher and you asleep? Emergency. This question has me lost. Teacher and can you look at it? I tapped on the image and scanned it. Another low-level grammar mistake. Pressing my throbbing temples, I replied with zero mercy. Did you feed the grammar I taught you to the dog? Too hard to memorize? Su Baiju, starting tomorrow. On the first day of transferring here, I stole the top student's seat. Starting tomorrow. Recite it in front of me. Make one mistake and handle it yourself. Wonton ball. Send these brainless questions again and find someone else. I will not cover you. On the other end, Su Baiju was lying on her bed, staring at the ultimatum on screen, frustratedly scratching her hair. She covered her face with the grammar book and started memorizing in resignation. The man she chose, even on her knees she will pamper him. Next morning, I had just walked into class and was immediately hit by a glaring pink on my desk. 2 love letters, folded into star shapes, giving off a sweet perfume, placed right in the center of my desk. Holy crap, broin, already getting love letters this early? Tang 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 walked in behind Su Baiju. Her big voice instantly grabbed everyone's attention. Before I could even reach out, a hand had already pressed down on both letters. Su Baiju was holding her bag with one hand, and with the other, pinched both letters with 2 fingers, swinging them in the air, eyes unreadable. The corner of his mouth curled into a dangerous smile. Pretty cute pink. Coming into my territory without my permission, and daring to pass these in. My expression was calm, his tone full of sourness and possessiveness. Forget it. Once something enters my pocket, do not even think of getting it back. Same goes for people, same goes for letters. I looked at him helplessly, sat down and pulled out my books. Do whatever you want. It is all the same anyway. Lin Xiaobei was stunned. Bro, and you do not even want to read them? What if some pretty girl wrote them? I opened my book, tone flat. Not interested. Been getting these since I was young. Got 2 full boxes of these at home already. All the same stuff. Such a show-off. Absolute show-off. Tang 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 and Lin Xiaobei hugged each other and cried. The beautiful ones suffer. The boring ones are bored to death. Sports rep Lu Yang nervously slipped over, holding a sign-up form, eyes darting between Xia and Su Baiju, not daring to look at Su Baiju once. The sports day lineup, deadline at noon. Still missing 2 people. Broen, can you help out? I glanced at the form, men 400 meter and men high jump. No one signed up? I borrowed the pen. Fine. I will take these 2. When I was in Ningxing I raced cars and did extreme sports all the time. Stamina is completely fine. Great. Thanks Broen. Lu Yang was moved to near tears. Then her gaze painfully shifted toward the one, napping at the desk. Sis Su. She had not finished before I lightly poked Su Baiju's arm with my pen cap. Su Baiju, you signing up? Su Baiju lazily lifted her eyelids, gaze falling on the name Xia had just written, the handwriting neat and forceful with a subtle energy. She curled her lips into a smile, voice low and husky, but carrying an unmistakable commanding warmth. If teacher and signs up, I sign up. Wherever you go, I go. I wanted to laugh and groan at the same time. You are literally a clingy little follower. I turned to Lu Yang and said, sign her up for women 110-meter hurdles and 400 m. Fill in whatever. Lu Yang felt like she had been pardoned, quickly filled it in privately in awe. Truly, only Xia in this world can tame this dragon. As sports day drew near, the study atmosphere in class hit an all-time high. After all, even the perpetually bottom-ranked Su Baiju was memorizing vocabulary for Xia's sake. What excuse did everyone else have to slack off? Friday before school ended, Teacher Yao finished the announcements. Everyone started packing up. Tang 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 turned around excitedly, leaning in mysteriously toward Xia. Wonton, after sports day opening ceremony tomorrow night, wanna come hang out with us? I was packing my bag. Go where? Tang 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 raised an eyebrow with the expression of someone about to open a whole new world. Take you ice skating. Sound exciting? Also take you, our little well-behaved baby, to see the world. Ice skating. Little well-behaved baby. See the world. My movements paused and I nearly laughed out loud. When I was playing at the top ice rink in Ningxing, Tang 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 was probably still at home writing practice test books. Before I could even open my mouth, Su Baiju beside me suddenly slapped her phone face down on the desk, resting her chin in one hand. Those piercing sharp eyes swept over me in a circle, landing finally on Tang 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 face. With 3 parts mockery and 7 parts hidden meaning, she let out a laugh, tone playful. Taking her to see the world? Tang Tang Tang. Do you have some kind of misunderstanding about our teacher and the scenes she has played in are more than the rice you have eaten? I looked up and met Su Baiju, those eyes that seemed to see through everything. My heart skipped a beat. This woman. How much does she actually know? Bringing the distance between the 2 dangerously close. The boy gentle mask instantly cracked, eyes burning with cold intensity. Voice pressed extremely low, both seductive and dangerous. Su Baiju knows too much. People who know too much tend to get silenced. The warm breath spilled onto Su Baiju's neck, carrying that sharp, cool, distinctly boyish scent. Su Baiju froze for a moment. Then she did not dodge. Instead leaned right into his gaze and smiled even more wickedly, like a rogue flirting with a respectable rich boy. Silenced? Come on then, let me also be done in by you. Big sis is very willing to die at your hands. I raised my hand, conceding defeat. This woman's skin is thicker than a city wall. I let out a cold snort, pulled my hand back, sat back down and kept scrolling through problems. But the tips of my ears had gone a faint pink. Tang 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 was watching from the side, holding her sunflower seeds, completely forgetting to crack them. So this is what they call a love-hate dynamic. These 2 definitely have something going on. My phone vibrated, a close childhood friend of Xia. Bro Xia, where did you go for the national holiday? I replied, back to Ningxing. Going to dye my hair first. This black hair has been going on too long. Suffocating. Dye it. Absolutely dye it. That last grandma blue was too iconic. This time, pitch black? Wonton ball. Still deciding. Heard Beiji Island is good. Find a way. As long as Bro Xia pays for it, I will go to the moon. I turned and asked Su Baiju, is Beiji Island fun? Su Baiju was lazily spinning her phone. Went when I was little. It was all right. You thinking of going? Considering it. Su Baiju's eyes narrowed. National holiday. Ningxing. Looks like I should get someone to look into his schedule. The next day, the classroom was as noisy as a market. I walked in right at the bell. The moment I appeared, the previously noisy room instantly. He irritably yanked at his tie, long fingers tapping on the desk in a chaotic rhythm, staring hard at Xia, eyes swirling with a dark possessive flame. I turned sideways and watched him with that murderous expression, eyebrow raised. What is wrong? Su, are you nervous? Nervous. Su Baiju let out a cold laugh, tongue pressing at the back of her teeth. I would get nervous? Then why is your face basically saying I am furious? Do not mess with me. Who is that for? And Xia asked back calmly. The next second, Su Baiju suddenly stood, stepped right in front of me. One hand braced on the wall behind Xia, trapping me between himself and the wall. Dangerously close, close enough that I could see myself reflected in his pupils. Close enough that our noses almost touched. I instinctively tried to lean back, only to find there was nowhere to go. My wrist was grabbed by Su Baiju's other hand and pressed against the desk. My heartbeat spiked instantly. Su Baiju. I forced myself to look composed on the surface. But my ears had already turned red beyond control. What is this rogue trying to do now? Su Baiju lowered her head, warm breath spilling right onto my ear, carrying a hint of something bewitching. Look clearly. I am not nervous. She parted her lips and lightly bit down on my burning earlobe, voice full of sourness and dominance. I am jealous. Coax me. My mind went completely blank. A numbing electric current shot from my ear throughout my whole body. Jealous. This woman is staking her claim. I shifted my head in a slight panic, trying to push her away. Silence does not mean you are mute. But my palms were completely sweaty. Damn. She actually got to me. Su Baiju looked at me forcing a straight face while completely flushed, and her mood lifted tremendously. She released her hand, leaned back leisurely, a triumphant smirk at the corner of her mouth, finger gently scrolling her phone screen. Teacher, and you are so handsome. Those flashy ones outside are dreaming. Dream on. The preliminary round for high jump was that afternoon, right next to the track and field races. I was stretching in my lane, warming up. Right beside me was the starting point for the men 400-meter final. Wait, women 400-meter final. Su Baiju was standing in the first lane. Today she wore a black athletic vest with a loose school jacket over it, sports shorts below. Teacher and Su Baiju whistled across the railing at Xia, who was stretching. Voice warm. Not gonna cheer me on. My movement paused. I straightened up, gaze landing on that strikingly sharp face. And those eyes that looked especially bright from the exertion, surrounded by screaming voices. Ah! Su Baiju is killing me. Sis Su legs, I could live off them for a year. Is this what they call queen energy? My expression was blank, forcing down that word inside my head. That I was jealous. Tone flat. Good luck. Utterly perfunctory. Su Baiju raised an eyebrow, gaze sweeping over my slightly pink ear tips, and grinned even more wickedly. Teacher, and still not cooled down? Why are your ears red again? I gritted my teeth and glared at him. Shut up. Save your energy for running. Do not drop dead out there. Su Baiju not only was not annoyed, but laughed so hard that the fans nearby almost fainted on the spot. Fine, fine, I will listen to teacher. And she leisurely took off her jacket and tossed it casually to Tang 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 beside her, revealing the tight black athletic vest underneath. Teacher, and cheer for me too. High jump. I will be watching at the finish line. On your marks. Ready. Bang. The gun fired and a black figure burst out. Explosive power. At the curve, Su Baiju's body leaned sharply, ponytail flying behind her, gaze sharp as a blade. She moved like a black bolt of lightning, instantly leaving second place behind by a full 10 meters. 400 is an anaerobic sprint, the ultimate test of endurance. Everyone else in the back half was struggling visibly. Only Su Baiju, speed not dropping at all, even still accelerating. Go Su Baiju. Charge Sis Su. The crowd cheering was deafening. Without any suspense, Su Baiju crossed the finish line first, breaking the school record. Right after finishing, Su Baiju was lightly panting, sweat sliding down her slender neck, disappearing into her vest. She was hot. Instinctively, she did something that drained every ounce of blood from the whole crowd. She grabbed the hem of her athletic vest with one hand and casually lifted it up to wipe the sweat off her chin. In that instant, her snow-white toned waist and the clear visible abs were fully exposed to the open air. Boom! The whole field exploded, boys and girls screaming, people frantically clicking pictures. Holy crap! Abs! Sis Su has abs! This is insane! Help me! Is this waist even real? Su Baiju paid zero attention to the reaction around her. She took the water Tang 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 passed over and chugged most of the bottle, the drops trickling from the corner of her mouth, sliding down a moving throat. Impossibly sexy. Instantly, over there, a figure in a white athletic outfit was getting ready to jump. Su Baiju's eyes lit up. That restlessness instantly vanished. He stuffed the empty bottle into Tang 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 arms, shoved aside people blocking the way. Voice domineering and absolute. Tang Tang Tang. Clear a path. Stop blocking me from watching my teacher and compete. On the first day of transferring, I stole the top student seat. Su Baiju pushed through the crowd, still warm with the heat from just finishing the race. Walking steadily toward the high jump area. I was the third in my group. I stepped up to the starting line, took a deep breath, and began my run-up. My white polo shirt billowed with my movement, caught by the wind. White sports shorts below. I launched, soaring through the air, tracing a perfect arc with my body. Core strength exceptional. I landed and stood up, hair slightly messy. Su Baiju walked to the side railing and started applauding, his gaze completely unrestrained, roaming over my toned waist. Teacher and nice core strength. I shook out my legs, easing the muscle soreness. Gave him a glance. Done comparing? Su Baiju lips curled into a Versailles-style smile. Just claimed my award. Shame though. Only lapped second place by half a lap. Did not break the record. Listen to this. Is this even a human thing to say? I replied flatly. Work harder next year. Su Baiju raised an eyebrow. Teacher and also work harder. Try to help me break a record too. The referee called out. Number 9,527. And xia. The bar had been raised to 1.75 meters. I started my run-up. Long legs, light as a swallow, I cleared the bar cleanly. Movement crisp and clean. So handsome the girls around screamed. Incredible. Bro, and are those legs even real? He broke the record. And xia broke the school record. Su Baiju watched that calm cool boy surrounded by the crowd. Su Baiju eyes, the smile deepening in his gaze. Truly worthy of being the man he had set his eyes on. Everything he does is electrifying. After the competition, my throat was practically on fire. I walked with Lin Xiaobei toward the food street, wanted to grab some bubble tea to survive. But the line at the bubble tea shop was even longer than usual. I was about to order online when a familiar figure appeared. Wonton. What a coincidence. Tang 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 was holding several bottles of orange juice. Su Baiju was trailing behind, holding one cup specifically, still glistening with water droplets. She walked up in front of me and held it out to my lips. This is for you. I paused. Looked down. Grape boba. Half sugar, no ice. Exactly my favorite order. I looked at Su Baiju with curiosity. How did you know I wanted this? Su Baiju curled her lips, leaned close to my ear, voice low and teasing. Maybe it is because teacher N and I are on the same wavelength. Or maybe I have already figured out all your preferences. My ear went slightly warm. I took a sip. The cold grape pearls instantly soothed all the heat. I pulled out my phone. How much do I owe you? The moment I stood up, a hand suddenly shot out from behind and shoved me hard with clear malicious intent. I lost my balance. My whole body pitched forward uncontrollably, and I instinctively threw out my left hand to brace against the wall. My knees slammed hard into the rough concrete floor, and Lin Xiaobei cried out in shock. Someone rushed over to help as I struggled to my feet. My face completely drained of color. A large patch of skin on my left palm had been scraped raw, and there were even traces of blood, but my knee was the worst of it. The pale skin was covered in scrapes, blood mixed with dirt, and the sight of it was genuinely alarming. Ow, I really didn't mean to. That push, he knew better than anyone how much force was behind it, and the crowd went completely silent. Everyone around turned to look, and when Xiao Iza saw I wasn't saying anything, his eyes went red in an instant. On the verge of tears, he whimpered, and Xia, please don't be angry. I really didn't mean to. He offered to accompany me to the infirmary. What acting, the Oscars genuinely owed this man a trophy. I held back the pain. My eyes went cold. I was about to speak when a furious voice cut right through the crowd. Su Baiju pushed through the crowd and walked in, taking one look at the blood on my knee. That usual lazy, casual look on her face vanished instantly, and she strode forward, radiating an aura that felt like she was about to tear someone apart. She muttered, damn it, the person I hold so carefully, the one I wouldn't even let get scratched, actually bleeding. Su Baiju. Those pitch-black eyes of hers were like a bottomless abyss right now, carrying a meaning that sent chills down your spine. Xiao Iza was so shaken by that stare that he flinched and started stammering an explanation. Su Baiju, I'm sorry, I really didn't mean to. Before he even finished, the air around them suddenly filled with sharp gasps, followed immediately by suppressed murmurs and screams. But Su Baiju acted as if she heard nothing at all. She bent down calmly, slipping one arm under my knees and the other around my back with steady, gentle hands. Without a moment's hesitation, she shifted her weight slightly, arms tensing just enough, and lifted my whole body into a princess carry, smooth and effortless, like I weighed absolutely nothing. A textbook perfect princess carry, Commanding and forceful yet somehow tender. Enough to make anyone's heartbeat go completely haywire. I felt the ground drop from under me as I was lifted into the air. My eyes, usually calm and steady, went wide in an instant, filled with complete disbelief and burning embarrassment. My ears flushed so red they looked like they might drip blood. Su Baiju, are you insane? Put me down, I'm a grown man, being princess carried by a girl in front of everyone. Does this make any sense? How am I supposed to show my face after this? Su Baiju's arms trembled slightly from the effort, but her steps were terrifyingly steady. She dipped her head, chin just grazing my forehead, voice low and rough, with a tone that left no room for argument. Stop squirming, if you keep moving I really will drop you. Not exactly the most poetic thing to say, but my knee was genuinely throbbing, and I couldn't put pressure on my left hand either, so I could only go stiff and stay rigid in Su Baiju's arms, her body tense, cold sweat forming on her forehead, her joints trembling faintly, gut clenched against the pain, refusing to make a sound no matter what, ears burning crimson, handsome to the point where you couldn't bear to look away. Holy crap, Sis Su is something else, overflowing with dominance. This is the legendary queen and her delicate little treasure. It's killing me. Su Baiju carried me the whole way at a fast pace, yanked open the infirmary door, and set me down on the bed. She was breathing hard, the hair at her forehead damp with sweat, but her eyes stayed fixed tightly on Xia's knee. Teacher, come quick. Check how bad the injury is. The school doctor pushed up her glasses, looked at the two of them, and laughed. You two again, weren't you just in here a couple days ago? She leaned in to look at that awful-looking knee and clicked her tongue twice before pulling out the antiseptic. It'll sting a bit. Tough it out, kid, with skin this fair. This injury looks really scary. The moment the antiseptic touched the wound, the pain made my whole body shudder. I instinctively clenched my fist. I hissed through my teeth, face bloodless and pale, while Su Baiju stood nearby, brows knitted tight, her hand involuntarily balling into a fist. The doctor bandaged away while chattering on. Oh my, such a good-looking young man. And those long legs too, why do you keep getting hurt? What a shame about those legs. After bandaging up, the doctor turned to look at Su Baiju and said teasingly, young lady, take better care of your boyfriend. Such a pretty boy. When he gets hurt, it really breaks your heart. On the first day of transfer, I took the top student girl's seat. When he gets hurt, it really breaks your heart. Su Baiju raised an eyebrow, the corner of her mouth curving into a flawless smile without denying it. But I panicked. A flush crept across my pale face. Teacher, you've misunderstood. She's not my girlfriend. We're just classmates. The doctor wore that classic "I understand everything, don't bother explaining" expression. She waved her hand. Yeah, classmates, so classmates are this close with each other these days. To the point of princess carrying someone. Kill me now, just let me disappear. I'm done. I'm cooked. A familiar voice calling my name rang out, and Bai Ningbin came bursting in like a gust of wind. He grabbed my hand and started inspecting me. Where are you hurt? Is your leg broken? I gasped sharply. Let go. I pried open the hand I'd been keeping clenched, the palm a mess of raw, scraped skin. All scrapes and cuts. Su Baiju's eyes sharpened immediately, and she grabbed my wrist, her expression frighteningly dark. Your hand is hurt too, why didn't you say anything just now? I said weakly. I was in so much pain just then. I forgot. Su Baiju laughed in exasperation and flicked my forehead. I think the fall knocked a few screws loose. Only then did Bai Ningbin realize, teacher, come quick, this hand is wrecked too. The doctor came over to treat the hand. Luckily it was just scraping. Don't let it touch water for a few days. Bai Ningbin fumed. It must have been that scheming green tea Chow Iza I just heard from Tang, claiming it was an accident. Who are you trying to fool? I pressed my lips together, eyes going slightly cold. I don't know, but there was definitely a push from behind. Whether it was intentional, only he knows. Su Baiju hadn't spoken a word. When her phone buzzed, she pulled it out and glanced at it. Whatever last trace of warmth had been in her eyes disappeared instantly. She pocketed the phone and turned to walk out, her whole silhouette radiating a cold, deadly energy. She told Bai Ningbin to keep an eye on me and that she'd be back. After Su Baiju left, Bai Ningbin stared at me for a long moment, then let out a few thoughtful sounds. Wanzai, I kind of feel like Su Baiju has a thing for you. I shot him a look. Shut up, no she doesn't. Bai Ningbin waved it off. Then what's with those eyes of hers? Looking like she wanted to swallow whoever hurt you whole. And that princess Carrie just now, Wanzai, the whole school already knows. My heart gave a strange little jolt. I turned away irritably. Stop making stuff up. Do you think I don't know her track record? There's Louis Chen and Xiao Iza. Both of them are nothing but trouble. Somewhere in the school garden. The atmosphere was oppressive. Tang and Shin Qingqing stood guard on either side, with Xiao Iza in the middle, crying dramatically, his whole body trembling. Someone said the person has been brought. Tang reported, while Su Baiju leaned against a tree, twirling her phone lazily in her hand. She glanced up with eyes that looked at him like he was an insect. Was it you? Chow Iza looked at Su Baiju, tears coming easily. Su Baiju, I really didn't mean to. I was messing around with a friend and lost my footing, he sniffled, crying while sneaking glances at Su Baiju out of the corner of his eye. The corner of Su Baiju's mouth curved into a cold, mocking smile, voice loose but lethal. Want to check the security footage? Chow Iza's crying stopped dead in its tracks, face draining to white. Security footage, there's actually footage here. Su Baiju sauntered closer, looking down at him from above. That spot is out of the way, but as bad luck would have it, to prevent students from skipping class. A high-definition camera was installed just last week. Want me to upload the video to the school network so the whole school can see just how precise that push of yours was? Chow Iza completely broke down, grabbing Su Baiju's hand, sobbing messily, no, please, Su Baiju, I'm begging you. She crouched down and patted Chow Iza's tear-streaked face, her voice soft yet utterly bone-chilling. You think you deserve that? After Su Baiju dealt with Chow Iza's mess and returned to the classroom, the dangerous energy still hadn't fully faded from her. She stood at the back door, gaze sweeping through the crowd, and locked onto that cool, composed figure, and Xia was sitting in her seat, knee and hand both bandaged, head turned slightly, chatting with Bai Ningbin about something. The corners of the boy's mouth curved up, a faint radiant smile breaking through the coldness in his eyes, handsome to the point of being hard to look at. The tension along Su Baiju's jaw finally eased a little. Good, at least the person is still here, still smiling, pretty enough. While Bai Ningbin was sprawled shamelessly with his legs dangling over the aisle armrest, a shameless smirk on his face. And Xia, listen to me, about today's whole thing. Do not let your older sisters find out, or else they'll twist my head off and use it as a soccer ball. I twirled my pen absent-mindedly. Tone ice cold, relax, you don't need to tell them yourself. If they find out I got hurt right under your watch. I looked Bai Ningbin up and down with a cool glance and let out a soft sound. They won't even need to say a word. You'll deal with yourself. Before he could even process the threat, Lin Xiaobei nearby was listening with delight. Broen, you actually have sisters, biological ones. I'm so jealous, you're this good-looking, so your sisters must be absolutely stunning beauties. I raised my eyebrow without a moment's hesitation. Of course they're biological. The eldest sister is fearless and fierce, and the second one, my twin sister, is a true rare gem of the world. Saying that, she glanced sideways at Bai Ningbin with a poisonous edge. Blood relatives are top tier. As for cousins though, I shook my head, just average. Bai Ningbin blew up instantly, pointing at his own face. And Xia, are you blind? This face of mine at Beiwai is considered top ranking. Okay, how am I just average? I just shrugged with an innocent look. Then go compare yourself with my sister. Bai Ningbin shut up immediately. Those two legends from the Infirmary. One is a fierce queen of the business world. The other is a top-tier socialite. Comparing yourself to them would be self-inflicted humiliation. Fine, forget it. Bai Ningbin waved her hand. Those two sisters of yours are meant to be admired by immortals. Us mere mortals can't afford to mess with them. Tang leaned over with a nosy look. Broen, you have two sisters and one's a twin. I nodded. Yep, one older sister. And one twin second sister. The whole group was stunned. Lin Xiaobei gasped, so your twin sister. Why didn't she come study in Beicheng? I propped my chin up. No reason to. She's happy where she is at Ningxing International Elite School. Why drag her all the way here? I glanced over in Su Baiju's direction with a pointed look. It's just that some people don't know a good thing when they have it, with a perfectly fine elite family to rely on. And insisting on coming all the way here to experience life, International Elite School. Tang and Lin Xiaobei nearly dropped their jaws. Ningxing is the economic capital of the country, and that school is famously known as a place where inheritors are raised. To get in, not only does your family need serious money, you also need to be an absolute academic beast. Tang looked at Xia in disbelief. Broen, so you willingly gave up top resources over there just to come hang out with us here? I smiled faintly, something restless and unreadable in my eyes. It's too cutthroat there. All rules and pressure. Boring. It's better here, free. And besides, my eyes drifted to the side where a certain someone was pretending to sleep. The people here are more interesting. Then Tang suddenly seemed to remember something. I was going suggestive. What about your girlfriend? Is she at that school too? The air instantly froze. Girlfriend. I looked completely blank. On the first day of transfer, I took the top student girl's seat. Girlfriend. I still looked completely blank. What girlfriend? How come I don't know about this myself? But before I could even say anything, Bai Ningbin beside me had already lost it. The pain hit and he shot to his feet with a look of absolute. Someone just messed with my precious cabbage horror. Wanzai, you're in a relationship. Since when? How dare you hide this from me? Who is it? Which little vixen seduced you? His shouting was hurting my ears. I shot him a cold look. Shut it. You're so loud. Bai Ningbin instantly went quiet and sat back down. But his eyes were still sharp. Then explain yourself. Tang saw it. I looked at Tang. A questioning look in my eyes. Tang 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 scratched her head. Matter-of-factly, it was the day of the entrance exam. At the school gate, this incredibly gorgeous woman came to pick you up, driving a fancy car, and she was touching your head, linking arms with you, you two standing together, such a perfect match, if she's not your girlfriend. Then who is she? Pfft. I couldn't hold it in and burst out laughing, and when I laughed, it was like snow melting, dazzling everyone around me. What are you laughing at? Did I guess right? Tang 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 looked intensely curious. I shook my head helplessly, looking at this group of people who had already made up their minds, and said clearly, that's my sister. Biological sister, twin sister. I deliberately emphasized, stars, biological sister, and twin stars, especially those words. Tang 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 suddenly understood, and let out a long sigh. Oh, so it was a sister. I was just about to say, that aura, that face, clearly shaped from the same mold as you. Then she turned to look at Bai Ningbin, and delivered a devastating blow. Honestly, compared to the biological sister, your cousin here falls quite a bit short. Genetics really are something. Tang Tang Tang. Bai Ningbin went berserk. She grabbed a book and went to hit Tang Tang Tang. You fat idiot. Shut your mouth. I'm a beautiful woman too. Tang 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 dodged nimbly and bolted out of the classroom. Nah. Just speaking the truth. And now you're mad about it, so embarrassing. Bai Ningbin chased after her in a rage. Get back here. If I don't beat some sense into you today, I'll eat my words. The classroom finally went quiet. I rubbed my temples, feeling like this day had been more exhausting than pulling an all-nighter at a club. The whole time, Su Baiju, who had been faking sleep, slowly lifted her head now, propping her chin on one hand. Those deep, cat-like eyes landed on Xia, the corner of her mouth curving up with a half-smile. So it was a sister, a twin sister. She recalled that scene at the school gate that day. That lingering sourness that had been knotting inside her for days suddenly dissolved completely. Su Baiju extended a foot and lightly nudged the tip of my shoe, her voice low and teasing. Mr. N, you really do keep things well hidden, even having such an impressive sister. Looks like the Infirmary genes are something else entirely. I glanced at her sideways, raised an eyebrow and shot back. Why? Does Miss Su have feelings for my sister? Su Baiju gave a low laugh and leaned in a bit closer, eyes fixed straight on me with a pointed look. Not interested. I'm only interested in younger brothers. In the classroom, Su Baiju sat in her chair, gaze resting on Xia's delicate profile. She fought hard to suppress the smile at the corner of her mouth, and the shadow that had been in her eyes cleared completely. 3 minutes. I want everything there is to know about this person. I raised an eyebrow, so they had found out after all. Hiding and sneaking wasn't really my style anyway. I picked a photo Lin Xiaobei had just taken of me out on the field. The boy in a white button-up shirt, standing in the sunlight, gold wire glasses, catching and scattering the light coldly, collar slightly open, clean cut yet somehow alluring. I clicked send and pinned it, casually and at my own pace. Let me reintroduce myself. I'm Xia. The post came with the image, and the comments section crashed immediately. The moment we've been waiting for our whole lives. We finally got a proper look at his face. Hubby is so handsome. Is this level of good looks actually real? Following right now, from this point on, he is my one and only. People above me, fight for yourselves. This is my husband. Among all the screaming comments, one caught Xia's attention. User ID Wanzai's Treasure commented, my man is so good looking. No unnecessary words, just pure possessive energy. I clicked on the profile and looked. Empty. Not a single post. I twitched slightly. The fans these days really do use all kinds of IDs. If the old man at home ever saw this, he'd probably turn dark again. And Xia, a nervous little voice, cut through my thoughts. Xiao Iza came to stand in front of me with red-rimmed eyes, fingers twisting together, looking completely wronged by the whole world. I'm sorry. I know I was wrong. Please forgive me. I placed my phone face down on the desk and looked up, eyes as cold and blank as ice. Why did you do it? Xiao Iza's tears came pouring down instantly, crying and wiping at the same time. I was just jealous. I used to be the center of attention in this class. But the moment you arrived, everyone only cared about you. I had a moment of weakness. I'm sorry. The crying was so good it was practically beautiful. As if I were the one who had committed violence. The sympathetic crowd started bleeding hearts around me. And Xia, she already apologized. And it wasn't intentional anyway. We're all classmates, just let it go. Boys should be generous, my foot. I listened to all this moral pressure and felt a flash of something cold in my eyes. I looked at Xiao Iza, my tone completely flat and without any warmth at all. Put away your tears. There better not be a next time. At that moment, Lao Yao came rushing in and spotted the blood-soaked bandage on Xia's knee. His heart sank and he kept sighing, all right, your health comes first. And Xia, tomorrow's competition. You don't need to join. Rest properly. Xiao Iza immediately raised his hand, trying to earn points by crying. Teacher, let me go instead. It's all because of me, I want to make it up. Lao Yao sighed. Fine, you go as substitute then. I watched coldly, making eye contact. The Oscars still owe you a trophy. The next morning, since I was injured, I didn't have to participate in the morning competition, so after 9, I strolled to school at a leisurely pace. It was drizzling outside, and the building was nearly empty. I had just reached the landing of the second-floor staircase when a persistent voice rang out. And Xia. I stopped and turned. Luichen was there with 4 sketchy-looking thugs, blocking my path. He wore an altered school uniform, face full of arrogance and resentment. Look who it is. How have you been? And the most insufferable, my eyes swept over those 4 men and went cold instantly. Without drawing any attention to it, I slipped my hand into my pocket and using pure muscle memory, pressed the side button. The emergency contact button on my phone. The person I'd set as the contact was Su Baiju, the leader of Luichen's group. A bleach blonde thug looked me up and down. So this is the one you were talking about. Kind of a pretty boy, isn't it? The blonde thug ordered. Drag him back. Then we deal with him properly. A cold light flashed from deep inside me. Every muscle tensing up. Drag me back. Depends on whether you've got what it takes to do that. Luichen glared at my face with pure hatred. What a big mouth. Fine. Even better then. He signaled the thugs as agreed. Pin him down first, then slap that mouth until I'm satisfied. All right, boys. Let's go. The moment they reached out, my eyes snapped sharp, ignoring the stabbing pain in my left knee. I twisted at the waist and launched a clean spinning side kick. Fast, precise, and brutal. Landing square in the chest of the first thug. On the first day of transfer, I took the top student girl's seat. It landed square in the chest of the first thug, sending him flying back hard into the wall. Before the second one could even react, I was already moving in close. My left hand was injured, but my right hand shot out in a sharp hook punch, cracking him right in the face. A cry of pain rang out. I was breathing a little harder now, cold sweat beating on my forehead. The wound under the bandage had torn open, blood soaking through the white fabric on my leg. But I stood there, eyes fierce as a wolf, radiating a bloodthirsty intensity. Luichen's face went white. You idiots, what are you standing there for? All of you, go. The remaining 3 thugs exchanged a glance and pulled out collapsible batons, then swarmed in viciously. Damn it, playing nice didn't work. Fine, let's finish him. I clenched my fists back against the wall. A flash of resolve in my eyes. Su Baiju, you'd better check your damn phone, you useless waste. Luichen lashed out in desperation and reached out to grab Xia's hair. My eyes went ice cold. Even with my knee bleeding through, even with my left hand screaming in pain, the combat instincts carved into my bones were still there. In the split second before Luichen seized the wrist, drove my hip in, and boom, a clean shoulder throw, Luichen went airborne. His body traced a full arc through the air and crashed down hard into the rain-soaked ground, sending mud splashing everywhere. What the hell? Tang 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 and Shin Qingqing, who had just arrived, were both left speechless. This is no fragile puppy. This is clearly a wolf in sheep's clothing. Watch out. Before anyone could react, the lead thug, enraged and humiliated, swung a fist straight at the back of my head. The color drained from their faces instantly. Su Baiju slowly straightened up. She didn't tend to the pain at her own back, and instead turned to check on me first. Once she confirmed I wasn't hurt again, she turned back to look at that thug. And in that one moment, the expression in her eyes was so heavy and intense, it looked like it could bleed. She grabbed the thug by the collar, her voice low and rasping like it crawled up from hell itself. You dare touch her. The thug's knees buckled like noodles, his whole body shaking. No, it wasn't me. Luichen hired us to come here. Sis Su, spare us, we didn't know she was yours. Completely out of excuses, Su Baiju's eyes went cold as ice, looking at them like they were a pile of garbage. Get out. With one shove of her hand, the group scrambled and tumbled away and vanished in an instant. I stood to the side and looked at Luichen still groaning on the ground, then walked over without expression, pressing my foot down on Luichen's wrist. A sharp snap and the joint dislocated. That was a parting gift. Later, when the ambulance took Luichen away, the rain got heavier. The sports meet was suspended. All students returned to their classrooms for self-study. Out in the corridor, Su Baiju was soaked through, school uniform clinging to her body, tracing graceful curves that radiated raw power. She backed me into a corner, looking absolutely furious. And Xia, are you out of your mind? You can barely walk straight, and you're still out here brawling with all these people. What if they had weapons on them? Do you have a death wish? I was completely thrown off what's gotten into this woman. Didn't she just help block a punch just now? I frowned, my tone just as hard. What are you yelling at me for? Those few scrubs were nothing close to a match for me. Not a match? Su Baiju laughed in disbelief. She jabbed a finger at my chest. And Xia, can you have some self-awareness? If you end up disfigured or permanently disabled, who am I going to have around? Bai Ningbin nearby tried to smooth things over. Hey now, Su Baiju, don't get worked up. Wanzai here has studied combat and judo. Last time he even took down a grown man. And the guy spent a whole month in the hospital. He knows his limits. Su Baiju let out a cold grunt and turned into the classroom. Without even sparing me another glance, the classroom had an extremely heavy atmosphere. Su Baiju sat in her seat, radiating a do-not-approach vibe. I sat beside her feeling completely baffled. It was clearly me who got hurt, clearly me who resolved the situation, so why is this woman in a mood about it? I picked up my phone, hesitated for a long time, then still sent a message, still mad. Hold it in long enough and you'll explode. I didn't do it on purpose. I won't do it next time. That good enough? Su Baiju's phone kept buzzing. She pulled it out and glanced at the stream of messages, then just gave me one cold look, and turned her phone face down on the desk, ignoring me entirely, seriously, acting all ungrateful now, pretending not to see my messages while my stubbornness kicked in too. Wanzai is done with you, we're done. After sending it, I shoved my phone into my desk drawer, crossed my arms, and stared out the window. Su Baiju saw that last message and felt her eye twitch. Done with you, trying to threaten people now. She turned around and propped one hand on my desk. Done with you. Her voice was lazy and laced with dangerous amusement. Mr. N, explain, how exactly are we done? I kept my lips pressed shut, stone silent, absolutely refusing to respond. Su Baiju let out a quiet laugh, her fingertip tapping on the desk rhythmically, like she was drumming on my heartbeat. Pulling a silent treatment to say you're done with someone. What are you, a grade schooler? I turned my head and glared at her in anger. Shut up. I don't want to talk to you right now. If we're done, then go away. Su Baiju looked at me like this, and the flare of irritation in her chest suddenly dissolved. Right at that moment, a low voice called out from the back door, and Xia, homeroom teacher Lao Yao, appeared at the back entrance, expression looking somewhat grave. Come to the office. My heart gave a small lurch. What's coming can't be avoided. The family of that scheming green tea is already on their way to cause a scene. I was just about to stand up when my wrist suddenly was grabbed. Su Baiju's palm, warm and firm, locked tight around my cold wrist, her thumb pressing lightly over the raised bone there. A slow, gentle caress, carrying an undeniable possessiveness. She lifted her eyes, something dark and heavy in them. I'll go with you. Anyone who dares touch what's mine, I'll break them. My anger hadn't faded, and I kept my expression cool. No need, the teacher called for me. This is a man's business. I'll handle it myself. I tried to signal for Su Baiju to let go. After all, dozens of pairs of eyes in the classroom were watching. Too obvious would make things difficult for her. Su Baiju still tried to hold on, her eyes like blades, sweeping the prying gazes from around us. She loosened her grip and said quietly, call me if anything happens. I nodded, stood, and walked out of the classroom, spine straight and steady. Back in the classroom, Tang looked worried. Holy crap, Sisu. Word is Luichen's parents are a nightmare. Apparently they're known to be flashy new money types. Can bro and really handle this alone? Su Baiju said nothing, but she got to her feet, kicked her chair aside, and walked out radiating cold menace. Sisu, where are you going? Su Baiju didn't even look back, getting some air, and while I'm at it, sharpening a blade. The office was tense with a standoff energy. I stood in the center, expression completely calm, spine straight as a beam, as if all the accusations being thrown at me had nothing to do with me at all. How come his parents aren't here yet? Probably some orphan nobody wants. Lu Yichen's mother was a garishly dressed middle-aged woman, face full of spite, words dripping with venom. Lu Yichen's father had a beer belly, let out a cold snort, and swept a contemptuous look over me. Look at this pathetic low-life appearance. Obviously some wild abandoned brat with no one. Wild brat. My eyes narrowed. My fist clenched hard and I was just about to explode when click, click, click. A sharp rhythmic sound of heels rang out in the corridor, each step landing like it pressed right down on someone's chest. A powerful hand pushed the door open and the man who walked in stood 190 centimeters tall, wearing dark sunglasses. The moment he took them off, a face that resembled mine but sharper and far more striking was revealed. Presence fully activated. Like a king arriving. Bro. A flash of surprise passed through my eyes. It was actually my eldest brother and Jin Yen, the ruthless powerhouse feared throughout the business world. And Jin Yen's originally severe expression softened slightly the instant he saw me. He walked up and tilted my chin, turning it side to side to examine. The eyes were still cold, but couldn't hide the concern behind them. What happened to your face? Are you hurt? I shook my head, instantly switching to obedient little brother mode, letting a trace of grievance show in my eyes. Not hurt, just got yelled at. And Jinyan's expression froze over instantly. He turned around, walked calmly to the sofa seat and sat down, legs crossed, posture elegant and commanding, as if this weren't a school office but his own boardroom. All right then, tell me how you'd like to die. Even Lao Yao was shaken by that presence. And this is, and Xia's older brother. And Jin Yen nodded slightly, his gaze like a blade cutting straight to Lu Yichen's parents. You came here for an explanation, go ahead. I'm listening. Lu's father got a jolt from the man's sheer presence, but thinking of his son still in the hospital, he pushed forward. Your brother put my son's hand out of joint and scratched up his face. With that kind of violence, he'll definitely end up a repeat offender. If my son's face scars, can your family afford to compensate for that? Lu's mother also screeched. Exactly. At such a young age, already this vicious. Last time he hurt my son twice too, he should be expelled. And pay damages. And Jin Yen found this amusing. He lazily reached into his bag and pulled out a cigarette case, tapped out a cigarette and rolled it between his fingers, then turned to look at Xia, his expression carrying a trace of "you're too soft for your own good" reproach. Xia, you're honestly too kind. The last person who tried to mess with you ended up in the ICU for a whole month, right? And this time it's just a dislocated shoulder. Looks like you've been slacking on your training lately. I bit back a laugh and played along. Bro, we're classmates after all. I was afraid if I went too hard, he'd need help for the rest of his life and end up clinging to me. You both. Lu's father and mother were shaking with fury. A family with no manners indeed. I'm calling the police. I'm gonna have you all thrown in jail. And Jin Yen slammed a palm flat on the table. The solid wooden table boomed with the impact. The teacups actually jumped. And Lu's parents both flinched in shock, too scared to even breathe. And Jin Yen stood up and looked down at them. Eyes absolutely ice cold. Manners, you have the nerve to talk to me about manners. You let your son hire thugs to come after my little brother. And this is your manners. Standing here screeching insults at a 16-year-old. This is your character. He gave a cold laugh and reached into his bag for a checkbook. Wrote out a number with quick sharp strokes. Tore off the check. Held it between two fingers. And flicked it lightly, letting it land right on Lu's father's greasy face. You want money, right? Take it. 500,000 is more than enough to replace every part on your son's body. With whatever's left. Go fix whatever's wrong with your brains. The check drifted to the floor. And when Lu's parents looked, 500,000. A full 500,000. This wasn't compensation. This was a slap delivered by money. And Jin Yen straightened his suit collar, put his sunglasses back on, masking the contempt in his eyes. He gave a cold smile and settled back into the main seat, presence fully unleashed. My little brother got frightened. Emotional damage fee, how much does that come to? He got defamed at school. Reputation damage, how much? And another thing, he reached out and hooked me, standing beside him, voice unyielding. Hand out here. My heart jumped and I instinctively started to pull my left hand back behind me. The day before, I'd scraped my palm helping Su Baiju. Still had bandaging on my knee too, if Big Brother spotted that clearly. But under Jin Yen's stern gaze, I could only comply and held out my hand, palm open. The scrapes and bruising across the pale skin of the boy's palm looked alarming. Jin Yen's pupils contracted on the spot. The pressure around him plummeted. He held his brother's hand gently, turned to look at Lu's parents. His voice cold as something dredged from an icehouse. My little brother from head to toe, down to every last hair, is worth tens of millions. Emotional damage, reputation damage, plus the injury on this hand and his knee. He held up two slender fingers, tone completely casual and unhurried. 2 million, 1 cent less and we settle this in court. You're going way too far. Lu's father jumped to his feet in outrage. And Jin Yen's expression didn't change. He didn't even blink. Going too far. You were the ones who made the first move. Little brother mode. Bro. Genuinely pleased. I've missed you guys so much. Right while we were talking, a familiar voice drifted up from the staircase landing. Su Baiju appeared with both hands in her pockets, radiating a keep your distance vibe. She looked up, eyes landing on me. Su Baiju, I called out to her, eyes brightening a little. Thanks for today. Wait for me to get back. I'll treat you to a meal. Su Baiju's steps paused. She looked at me for a long moment, then gave a quiet acknowledgement, and went back upstairs without looking back. Back at the Infirmary villa, the warm living room had a heavy atmosphere. Dad looked at the scrapes and let out long sigh after long sigh. And Xia, Dad, don't furrow your brow. Frowning makes you age faster. I already said it was an accident. I'm trained. I genuinely didn't lose out. Dad shook his head helplessly. Talking to me won't help. You need to go explain this to your mother. He gestured toward the study and lowered his voice. Your mom saw your injuries and her face has gone as dark as the bottom of a pot. Tonight she might actually have you transferred. Transferred? I sat bolt upright. Absolutely not. No way. I finally got used to things there. And besides, there's also that Su Baiju who's irritating but somehow protective. Dinner that night had a dangerously low atmosphere. Mom sat at the head of the table, saying nothing, expression chillingly composed. After dinner, she put down her chopsticks, gave me one cold glance, and Jingrue, come with me to the study. It's all over. And Yumu sat nearby, watching the remaining food in Xia's bowl with pure schadenfreude. Looks like someone's about to be packed up and shipped back to Ningxing. I gave my second sister a fierce glare. And Yumu, you're adding fuel to the fire. Do you have any sympathy at all? On the first day of transfer, I took the top student girl's seat. Do you have any sympathy at all? And Yumu just shrugged and smiled like a fox. I turned to look at Dad and called out in my most pitiful voice, Dad, Save me. The queen is about to blow. And Dad and Yumu exchanged a glance. These two. The family's little drama king is at it again. I sat on the sofa looking as wronged as I could manage. Before Dad could even comfort me, and Yumu cut in coolly. Alright, stop saving it up. You won't have any left when you actually get in front of Mom. I sniffled, and turned to glare at my second sister. And Yumu, if you don't speak up, nobody's going to mistake you for a mute. This is the person who fought for nutrients with me in the womb, from childhood all the way until now. Her one consistent joy has been undermining me. After that hit from my own sister, whatever emotional buildup I'd had got pushed right back down. Ruined. In the study, the atmosphere was heavy. Mom rubbed her temples, looking at the eldest son standing before the desk. How is Shasha? And Jinyen set aside the acquisition documents in his hand. His tone steady, still the same. A lightning rod for trouble. She's had that since she was young, but looking at it, seems the kid really doesn't want to transfer. Mom let out a sigh, brow furrowing slightly. And Xia's stubborn streak is a perfect mirror of her own younger self. Back then she insisted on coming to Beijing for school too. Just wanting to break free from the family and breathe some fresh air. Only now, being bullied like this, as parents, how could they possibly not care? Mom went silent for a moment, her fingers tapping lightly on the desk. Fine. And Jinyen saw Mom's expression and asked carefully, what did she say? Did she get angry? Is she really going to make me transfer? And Jinyen looked at his little sibling doing this adorable act, and couldn't resist reaching out, and messing up her soft hair. What do you think? Be good. My little mouth started to tremble, and immediately I was a deflated eggplant. Even you're saying this, am I doomed then? And Jinyen looked at my pathetic face and couldn't hold back a laugh. He flicked my forehead. Just teasing you. Mom's waiting for you to come talk to her yourself. It all depends on how you perform. For real. The grievance in my eyes vanished in an instant. I pushed Big Brother out of the room and immediately shut the door. And Jinyen looked at the closed door and shook his head helplessly. This kid's expressions flipped faster than turning pages. The next morning, and Yumu came downstairs in a silk pajamas, yawning, just stepped into the dining room and stopped dead, rubbing her eyes in disbelief. She wasn't seeing things, that was Xia. She looked up at the clock on the wall, 6:30 in the morning. For someone like Xia who had chronic trouble getting up, being up at this hour was nothing short of a miracle. And Xia and Yumu sat down in disbelief at the table, poured a glass of warm water to steady her nerves. Are you sleepwalking? Or has someone possessed you? And Jinyen was already sitting in the main seat reading the paper. Didn't even look up. 100% real, the kid is really fighting hard to avoid being transferred. And Yumu got up and went into the kitchen, where I was wearing an apron and busy at the stove. The usual pampered little prince who wouldn't lift a finger was actually doing a pretty decent job of plating food. And Yumu casually reached for one of the freshly fried dough sticks, got her hand mercilessly smacked away. Stop that. And Xia was guarding it seriously. These are for Mom, Dad, and Big Brother, none for you. And Yumu was offended. Your own sister just got sacrificed then. I carefully placed the last heart-shaped fried egg, picked up the tray, and walked out of the kitchen with a face full of flattery. Placed it in front of Mom and Dad. Mom and Dad, quick, try some, I offered with both hands raised, looking up at my parents with full expectation. Mom put down her phone and scanned the lavish breakfast spread. Those were Ningxing's most famous breakfast items, the ones that normally required half an hour in line. She picked up a dough stick and tried a bite. Tastes good. And these crab roe buns, I made a special early trip just to order these. Don't you want to, Mom? Before I was always at international school, surrounded by people who only ever competed on family status. I never had a single real friend. But Beijing is different. I managed to make actual friends there for the first time. I don't want it to just end before it even starts. I held up 3 fingers and swore sincerely, I promise, I will absolutely never get picked on again. And if I get hurt again, you don't even need to say a word. I'll pack myself up and come home to Ningxing. Mom had actually already talked it through with Dad last night. Children grow up, eventually you have to let them go and fly, since she's this insistent, Mom sighed, and finally relented. Fine. If you love it there that much, I'll let you have your way. But her eyes sharpened. There better not be a next time. Yes. Thank you, Mom. Mom, you're the best. And Xia jumped up excitedly, ripped off the apron and threw her arms around Mom, planting a big kiss on her cheek. You guys eat. I'm going back to catch some sleep. Dying of tiredness. With that, she dashed upstairs like a gust of wind, leaving the whole table laughing. This precious little troublemaker, you honestly can't stay mad. And Yumu sat at the dining table looking at all the leftover scraps, completely full of grievances. So I must be adopted then. A stray from the trash can, slaved away all that time, and you didn't even leave me a single dough stick. And Dad laughed and pointed toward the kitchen stove. There's a whole steamer of crab roe soup dumplings. Your sibling specifically saved them for you. Been keeping them warm. And Yumu practically bounced into the kitchen and lifted the lid, steam rising, fragrance filling the air. All his absolute favorites, even more than the other plate. And Yumu bit into one, the corners of her mouth curving up helplessly. At least this little one has some conscience. Not a waste of all those good words she spoke on his behalf last night. I slept so hard I lost all sense of time. When I finally woke up it was already 1 in the afternoon, still rubbing the sleep from my eyes lazily. I picked up my phone. Musicsin, heard from second sis you're back in Ningxing. And Xia, just got back last night. Coming out this afternoon. I want to dye my hair. Musicsin, bro, I'm still a high schooler, still grinding away in class. Who do you think is like you, just skipping class whenever you feel like it? That's when I caught myself on the first day of transfer. I took the top student girl's seat. Musicsin, bro, I'm still a high schooler, still grinding away in class. Who do you think is like you, just skipping class whenever you feel like it, right? Beijing already had early holiday. But this elite school in Ningxing still had to hold out until tomorrow for the national holiday. I replied. Alright then. This afternoon I'll come pick you up from school. Musicsin, holy crap. And the campus heartthrob coming to pick me up in person. I'm unworthy. And Xia, stop it, what do you want to drink? Dad's buying. Musicsin. The usual. After washing up, I casually grabbed a white athletic vest, threw a thin open cardigan over it, light wash jeans on the bottom. The whole look looked simple, but it made my skin look even cooler and paler, carrying that youthful boyish energy. Downstairs, and Dad was stretched out on the sofa reading scripts. As a top-tier producer, even at home he had that leisurely elite look about him. Seeing his son come down, and Dad immediately sat up. Xiaxia's awake. And Xia, I'm hungry. Came down to find something to eat. I went into the kitchen and cut some tomatoes and lettuce, tossed them into a salad, and grabbed a bottle of unsweetened yogurt. Staying in shape is part of being a campus heartthrob. Sitting at the dining table, I ate my salad while scrolling on my phone. Baiwei's official account had posted a sports meet recap. The comments were filled with people fawning over Xia's high jump photo. Senior Xia is killing me, those legs. Referring specifically to Tang Tang Tang. Good at Wanzai is Wanzai. I twirled my fork as I scrolled. Wanzai is Wanzai. Might head to Bay Island to play tomorrow or the day after. Slow simmering. Come with someone. Wanzai is Wanzai. Musicsin, also me and my second sister. The group went quiet for a moment. Who's Musicsin, male or female? Thanks XO, we could arrange a chance encounter. I looked at the pointed message Su Baiju had sent, and felt a wave of inexplicable guilt. Male. Been wearing the same pants since we were little. But I didn't reply and just turned off the screen. Let her wait a bit. I announced I was going out. Dinner's not coming home. Alright, stay safe. Charge it to your brother's card. I put on a mask and headed out with my camera. Grabbed some bubble tea and headed straight to Ningxing International Elite School. The security guard at the gate recognized me at first glance. Isn't this Xiaxia? Haven't seen you in so long. I pulled down my mask, showing that handsome face and smiling like a good boy. Hey uncle, at the elite school. My name was basically a legend, not just because I was the most beloved little prince of the Yin family, but also because of that older brother of mine who was the stuff of myths and Jin Yen, and the computer genius second sister and Yumu, plus the couple of legendary figures from Godfather and Godmother's side. I was basically the group's darling. Honestly, you've got everything good going for you, but you still came to Beijing to suffer. The security guard uncle looked genuinely pained for me. I laughed with my eyes curving up. Ah, come on uncle. I call this experiencing life. Uncle, here's a cup of tea for you. I handed over a cup of bubble tea. Still holding 3 more cups, I strolled right through the school gate. Outside the second-class classroom. Class wasn't over yet. I was already leaning on the corridor railing, head down editing the vlog footage I just shot, drawing passing students into repeated double takes. Who's that, so handsome? A figure appeared in front of me. I froze for a second, then blurted out instinctively, why are you here? On the first day of transfer, I took the top student girl's seat, elite school, experimental building corridor, and Yumu had one hand slipped into the pocket of her lab coat, the other waving a freshly signed application form to get you this permit for the experimental lab. I had to push back a meeting with the professor. You're here waiting for Musicsin, right? I leaned against the railing and smiled my most cooperative smile. I reached out and took the form. Yep. Waiting for that big dummy to get out of class. Want to take her out and have fun. Thanks, second sis. I pointed toward the security room with a flattering tone. I ordered bubble tea for your research group. It's at the security room. Everyone's got one. You're the best in our family. And Yumu's expression was unreadable. She glanced at the watch on her wrist. You know how to make people happy. Go home early. Don't hang around outside being a delinquent. Before the words even settled, the bell rang to end class, and Yumu's brow twitched slightly. She turned and was already gone at a brisk pace, her long hair sweeping a cold and striking arc behind her. I need to get out of here first. Those younger students are too intense. If they see me here, I'll get cornered again with this cold beauty of the elite school. Vanished around the staircase corner in an instant. That's my second sis. That lethal charm. Slays both boys and girls. She'd barely stepped away when Musicsin came sprinting out with her bag. Wanzai. She hollered. And then Musicsin had her arm hooked around my neck. nearly choking me out. Hands already going over me everywhere. Let Dad check. These few months in Beijing. Have you suffered? Have you been eating well? Is Dad still here? I swatted his hands away with pure disdain. Fixed my ruffled collar. Get lost. Still alive. Come on, I'll take you to get your hair done. Dad's paying at the salon. The stylist warmly greeted me right away. Shaoan, what color are we doing today? I looked in the mirror, pointed to a subtle shade on the color chart. Dark tea brown. Going back to school and I don't want to draw too much attention. Musicson sat beside me getting a treatment, sipping bubble tea while gossiping. Hey Wanzai, have you met any absolute beauties or handsome guys also work at Baywai? After all, with my face, the bar for my aesthetics is just too high. Regular plain people don't even register. Handsome. My fingers paused on the phone screen, and Su Baiju's face floated into my mind. That face that was arrogant yet somehow charming. And the way she'd pressed me against the wall. My mouth twitched slightly. Expression complicated. My desk mate, I guess that female bandit is genuinely unreasonably good-looking. I added another line. Honestly speaking, Bai Ningbin's face at Baywai is already considered top tier. But compared to Su Baiju, Su Baiju is still more striking. Musicson pulled a pearl through her straw, looking shocked. By cousin, that one's all flashy temptress energy. So your desk mate is something truly fierce. That even you'd admit is beautiful. Right, yeah, about tomorrow and Bay Island. I nodded. She went back to her room. He closed the laptop, stood up, silk pajamas tracing an elegant silhouette. I asked casually, tomorrow I and Musicson are going to Bay Island. Are you coming? And Yumu paused, let out a yawn. Not going. There's a global hacking competition. I need to lead my team to dominate. The last few days of the national holiday, I'll spend with Mom and Dad. I saw that brother and big bro seem busy these past few days too. Said all that and floated back to her room in her usual cold, composed way, leaving me alone in the wind outside. Not a single normal person in this whole family. The next morning, the alarm had my head throbbing. I groggily dragged myself up, washed up, stood in front of the wardrobe and picked out a white windbreaker, black tapered trousers for the bottom, perched a pair of silver frame light glasses on my face, covering the sleepy look in my eyes. Refined on the outside but wild within. Yet another day of being woken up by my own good looks. I took my luggage downstairs wherein Dad was having coffee. Where are you going to play? I sat down next to Big Brother and Jin Yen and poured myself a glass of water. Bay Island. I'll be back in 2 days. Forgot to say last night. And Jin Yen, all sharp and sleek in a black tailored suit, was reading financial news, radiating all the magnetism of a mature man. He glanced down at his watch. His tone even, I'm heading to the airport today. The station is on the way. I'll drop you both off. My eyes brightened. I took a bite of a small pork bun. Great. It's been a while since Big Brother saw me off. He suddenly paused. Wait, hold on. With Big Brother's schedule where every minute involves millions on the line, he'd actually go to the airport himself. Bro, who are you going to the airport to pick up? Someone who could make the Infamily's eldest son go in person. That serious face. And Jin Yen elegantly wiped the corner of his mouth. Those deep eyes of his held a ripple of something barely perceptible. Picking someone up? Then our eyes met, and we both sensed the gossip. TSK, TSK, TSK. This word. How does it carry the scent of spring in it? The iron tree is finally about to bloom. Bro, come on, we'll miss the bullet train. I chomped down the last of my milk and started rushing him. Big Brother, who was still standing in front of the mirror adjusting his tie, and Jin Yen picked up the car keys, expression composed. But it seemed like there was something quietly hiding in his eyes. An anticipation. The black Maybach cruised along unhurriedly, and just barely dropped the two of us off at the bullet train station on time. Thanks, bro. See you in 2 days. I grabbed Musicson and sprinted into the station. We boarded the train and I sprawled in my seat, idly scrolling through Weibo. Trending alert. Ruan Qingbei returns to China. Trending alert. Hashtag. Team captain breaks contract. Trending alert. The penalty fee is insane. Trending alert. It's all over hot search. I clicked on the topic. The girl in the photos had long flowing hair, sharp, elegant features, and eyes that carried something bone deep and resilient. Ruan Qingbei. Isn't that the younger sister of Big Brother's high school classmate? I'd seen her a few times as a child. She was the only one who could. On the first day of transfer, I took the top student girl's seat. Isn't that the younger sister of Big Brother's high school classmate? I'd seen her a few times as a child. She was the only one who could make that frozen mountain of a brother of mine melt. Musicson leaned over and looked at the screen, instantly went wild. Oh my god, Wanzai, you're following Ruan Qingbei too. She's literally my goddess. Chen Xuan's top face. Insane ability. It's such a shame her company ruined her. Now she's broken the contract and returned. She's probably going to have to pay a fortune. Beautiful girl crushed by the world. We both looked at each other with the same thought, thinking back to Big Brother's extra formal suit today. And that line, going to the airport to pick up someone important, case closed, the Infamily's eldest son going to the airport personally. I leaned on the railing, Just settling in to enjoy a holiday without homework. Wanzai. A familiar voice hit me like a curse. I turned and good grief. By Ningbin. Tang tang tang, shin ching ching. And that person with both hands in pockets looking impossibly cool, Su Baiju. The group came jogging over, faces written all over with coincidence, huh? I squinted sharply at By Ningbin. You asked my second sister, except for that homebuddy hacker sister of mine. Nobody knew my itinerary. By Ningbin looked mortified and pulled Musicson over as a human shield. Hey, come on. It's just that we haven't seen our handsome new friend in ages. Been missing him so much. Musicson had just come back from taking photos, heard that, and rolled his eyes. By cousin, you're using me as a weapon. You think I'm an idiot? Tang 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 stood next to them laughing helplessly. Ha 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 ha. Admit it already, you just came here to mooch while everyone was arguing. Su Baiju, who had been standing at the back the whole time, walked up. She was in a black leather jacket, black miniskirt, black Doc Martens, the whole look effortlessly sharp, presence radiating 2 meters wide. Musicson saw Su Baiju for the first time and immediately went starry-eyed. She grabbed my arm and shook it in excitement. Holy crap. She's gorgeous, Wanzai. Quick. Introduce her. Before I could even open my mouth, Su Baiju's jet black sharp eyes were already fixed directly on me. Her voice low and unhurried. No introduction needed. I'm your Wanzai's school desk mate. Musicson's brain short-circuited, blurting out without thinking, you're the one Wanzai always talks about. Baiwei's #1 beauty. She said you're even better looking than Bai cousin. Basically a rare gem of this world. Dead. Like a literal death of silence. My face, burning. Flushing a red so intense it looked like it could drip. I genuinely wanted to delete Musicson on the spot. Musicson, you big mouth. Something like this. How could you just say it straight to the person's face? Su Baiju raised an eyebrow. A perfect playful smirk on her lips. Baiwei's beauty. She stepped forward, closing the distance between us. So in Mr. An's eyes, I have such high marks. Musicson still hadn't realized the gravity of the situation. Kept twisting the knife. Wanzai, why is your face so red? Is it the sea breeze? Or is it the heat? I gritted my teeth and forced words through the cracks. Musicson, you better shut up right now. Say one more word, and I'll throw you overboard. Shin Ching sensed something was off and quickly tried to smooth things over. Hey, this must be Wanzai's childhood bestie, right? Come. Beauty. I'll take you to see the view over there. Stop being a third wheel here. The group swept Musicson away en masse. And now only Su Baiju and I were left on deck. The atmosphere thick and syrupy with something unspoken. I wanted to find a hole to crawl into, so I desperately dropped my head and pretended to scroll my phone. But then a pair of familiar Doc Martens stepped right into my line of sight. The boots were only a few centimeters from my own shoes. I reflexively looked up, moved too fast, nearly crashed into her chin. I pulled up hard just in time. The tip of my nose was only a finger's width from hers. Su Baiju didn't step back either, just looked down at me slightly, eyes holding a hint of amusement. I frowned, keeping my voice low. Standing this close, are you trying to get me to fight you? She didn't respond to that, just reached out a hand and lightly touched the spot on my forehead that had nearly collided with her. Then let her fingers slide down into my hair and gave it a gentle rub. You dyed your hair. Her voice was low and quiet, carrying a bit of approval. Looks good. I immediately reached up and wrapped my hand around her wrist, moving her hand away, tone flat and stiff. All right, stop touching me everywhere. Just so you know, your chin nearly got knocked by me. She laughed softly. Hand held by me without struggling. Just used her other hand to touch her own chin. I know, so I dodged. Lucky you have quick reflexes. Consider it a reward. Not pressing charges, I let go of her wrist and shot her a sideways look without much warmth. But there was a faint unease stirring somewhere inside. This woman always managed to leave you with nothing to say back. Then Su Baiju's voice dropped a few notes, carrying an unusual sincerity and a hint of guilt. I'm sorry. The whole speech I'd prepared in my head got lodged in my throat all at once. This person doesn't follow any script. Throwing a direct apology at you right off the bat made it impossible to know how to be angry anymore. My heart felt strangely full in an unexplainable way. That feeling of being carefully held by someone left me not knowing what to do with myself. I took a slow, deep breath, trying hard to maintain my image as someone cool and aloof, arms crossed, keeping her at a slight angle. Using this to cover the sound of my own heartbeat. An apology means nothing. Police don't even bother if it was just that. I'm not accepting it. Su Baiju looked at me like this, her eyes full of something indulgent. She let out a soft laugh and leaned close to my ear. Not accepting it, Mr. N. Tell me then, how do you want me to make it up to you out on the deck, Su Baiju? The corner of her mouth curved in a teasing smile, her voice low and alluring. You immature little kid, little grade schooler. I bristled immediately. Su Baiju, where do you get off calling me a grade schooler? Looking at this puffed up little blowfish in front of her, Su Baiju's smile deepened even more. She suddenly reached out, grabbed my wrist without ceremony, and flipped my palm face up in a move that was dominant but turned unbelievably gentle the very instant it made contact. I startled, just about to pull my hand back, but those slightly cool hands held on firmly. The fair skin of the palm, where the scrape had been, had formed a scab now, soft pink new flesh growing over it. Su Baiju's fingertip, gently pressed along the edge, her tone casual but somehow soothing, healing up nicely. My ears burned. I yanked my hand back fast and shoved it into my pocket, covering up the flustered feeling. On the first day of transfer, I took the top student girl's seat. I put on my most authoritative little professor face and delivered my warning, stop putting your hands on people when we get back this time for the monthly exam. If your Chinese and English are still below passing. I let out a huff, tilting my chin up. Mr. Teacher will officially resign. I'm done. Su Baiju looked at my bluffing face and couldn't help laughing out loud. She leaned in close, warm breath brushing against the side of my ear, voice steady and certain. Relax, I haven't graduated yet. Not about to let Mr. Teacher resign before that. Won't embarrass you. After the group regrouped, they ate and drank their way through the day. Then in the sunset, everyone took a big group photo together. Tang 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 just had to show off and instantly posted it to her social feed. Tang Tang Tang. A day with my idol. With in the photo I was front and center, smile radiant and pure. Su Baiju stood just behind me, eyes cool and sharp at the camera, but subtly taking a protective stance. By Ningbin, hey, am I not gorgeous too? Lin Xiaobei, my Wanzai is too handsome. Next time I'm coming too. Xia Xiaocheng, damn, I wasn't invited. This is a betrayal. 5 minutes of estrangement. Musicsin, you better look after my Wanzai. If a single hair is out of place, I'll hold you personally responsible. The comments below were even more explosive. Holy crap, Tang Tang Tang. How did you deserve this? Honestly speaking, I dyed this dark tea brown. He looks even better. Who is that cool girl next to him? Such a perfect match. The expression on her face screams. My man, nobody better touch him. Sis Su is gorgeous. This couple combination needs to be shipped. That night, sea view room. After Musicsin and I had washed up, Musicsin got nosy and scooted over. Wanzai, honest answer. You and that Su goddess, how far along is it? I paused what I was doing, eyes flickering slightly. What, how far along? Stop making things up. Nothing has even started. Musicsin clicked her tongue in disbelief. Word has reached even me that this sis Su at Baywai is quite a big deal. Those eyes of hers, like she wants to swallow you whole. And you're not even moved. I put down the mirror I was holding. Silent for a moment. Musicsin, you know, in 2 years she and I will probably never see each other again. Musicsin froze, right? One of them is an heir to the top-tier family in Ningxing, destined to return to that world at the top of the pyramid. The other is Beiqing's local powerhouse. Family has backing but ultimately belongs here. 2 parallel lines that briefly intersected because of one rebellious escape from home, and are destined to diverge again. I lowered my gaze, my voice clear but very measured. She really is good, really different from others, but we're not right for each other. I came here to experience life, not to put down roots. This limited time feeling was always going to have an expiry date. Musicsin sighed and patted my shoulder, and said nothing more. That night, the stars above were beautiful, but couldn't illuminate everything in the boy's heart. The national holiday ended. I was curled on the sofa, squeezing out every last bit of the break, editing a high-quality vlog, and posted it to Weibo. Wanzai vlog, Wanzai's national holiday special. P.S. The duration is touching. Babe, take your time watching. The video had the sea breeze of Bay Island, the sunset of Ningxing, and at the end, a cool girl in a black leather jacket. Come on, hubby, come look at me. I'm the wife you lost years ago. People above me, fight for yourselves. This is my husband. I was curled on the sofa scrolling comments, replied to a few. Then suddenly, one comment caught my eye. User ID Wanzai's treasure commented. My husband looks so good. Kisses. I twitched slightly. Husband. Sure, I'm technically the 3rd youngest at home. And yes, I am admittedly pretty good looking. But these fans cannot just be calling anyone that. Fans these days are getting bolder and bolder. I thought about it and typed back. Hey babe, if you keep calling me that too much, my future girlfriend might get jealous. Almost instant reply. Wanzai's treasure. She says she won't. Well, thick-skinned. The tone. How does it sound so familiar? I clicked on the profile. Blank. One post at all. Instinct told me. This was absolutely that delinquent Su Baiju's doing. Calling me husband with no shame at all. I closed my phone and buried my face in the pillow, grinning to myself. Who do you think you are to me? Shameless. The national holiday ended. I showed up to school with my freshly dyed, dark tea brown short hair. In the sunlight, the strands gave off a faint warm shimmer, making my skin look even cooler and paler, drawing girls' gazes as I passed. I stepped into the classroom, barely sat down when Lin Xiaobei rushed over and gave me a thumbs up. Wow, Wanzai, this hair color is perfect. Indoors it looks black. but elevated beyond regular black. So good, I ran my fingers through the ends and answered casually. Then my gaze drifted to the empty seat beside me. Su Baiju wasn't here, this person. Usually liked to cut it close, but never actually late. The bell rang and tang 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 and shin ching ching came rushing breathlessly into the classroom. But without that familiar cool, effortless presence behind them. I was just about to ask when homeroom teacher Lao Yao walked in with textbooks. Everyone settled down. Hope everyone had a good holiday, now time to face reality. Lao Yao slapped the schedule up on the blackboard. Monthly exams start tomorrow night. And Xia, come to my office after class. Pick up the exam room assignment sheet. Post it on the notice board. I nodded distractedly. A whole Chinese class passed in a blur. My eyes kept drifting to the empty seat beside me. A hollow feeling tugging at me. The moment the dismissal bell rang, barely before Lao Yao had even stepped out, I spun around immediately and grabbed Tang Tang Tang's arm. Where's Su Baiju? Tang Tang Tang's eyes shifted away. Clearly too scared to look at me, my heart sank with a heavy thud, tone dropping a few degrees. Something happened. Tang 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 let out a sigh, glanced around first, then moved to sit in Su Baiju's seat. Lowering her voice, it's not what you're thinking. Sis Su, she got taken in, my pupils contracted, she was bailed out by family a couple days ago already. School gave her a disciplinary notice, told her to stay home a couple days, it's basically a suspension. I took a slow breath and forced myself to stay calm. A fight, why, on the first day of transfer. I took the top student girl's seat. Su Baiju might look wild, but she's not the type to start pointless fights. Tang 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 bit her lip, expression heavy with anger. Remember Louis Chen's group? And that Xiao Iza. I nodded, how could I forget, they were the ones picking a fight last time, the night before yesterday we went out to a bar. That group was there too, had too much to drink, mouths running filthy. Tang Tang Tang. Xiao Iza led the provocation against Sis Su, saying things like, your desk mate is so hot. Why not bring them out? Let the brothers get a taste, and some garbage about how good things should be shared, boom, inside my head. It was like a string snapped, fist clenching shut, nails digging into flesh. Then Sis Su lost it completely. Tang 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 mimicked the motion. She grabbed a bottle right off the table and smashed it over, one against a whole group of them. Beat Xiao Iza and the leader until both their faces were a bloody mess. And they're still in the hospital. Lying there now, later the police came. Sis Su took the blame for the whole thing herself, got taken in. I went silent, so it was because of protecting me, that girl who was always acting casual. Calling me Mr. Teacher in a way that was never quite serious. I told Tang 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 to head back and went to the office myself. Lao Yao handed me the form. His gaze paused on my hair for a second. Dyeing hair isn't allowed at school. I looked down. Lao Yao smiled slightly and waved it off. Forget it, given your grades are top of the whole school, as long as it doesn't affect your studying, it's fine. It's not that obvious anyway, this is the privilege of being the top student. Just before leaving, I stopped and asked carefully, teacher, Su Baiju. Lao Yao let out a sigh, expression somewhat complicated. She'll be back in a couple of days, this situation got quite serious. The school also needs to give an account. Tomorrow night's chemistry exam. She won't be able to make it. I nodded and walked out of the office in a daze. A chemistry exam that she won't even be present for, what's the point of caring about that? At noon during lunch break, I was alone. At the empty classroom on the rooftop, I took out my phone and dialed a number. Hello, Wanzai. The voice on the other end came back steady and composed. It was my aunt, another one of the Infirmary's decision-makers. I pursed my lips, voice coming out a little soft. Auntie, could you do me a favor? What are you being so polite with your aunt for? Just say it, is it that you're short on pocket money? I gripped the phone tighter and spoke quietly. It's not about money. Annie, I have a classmate. Because of protecting me, she got into a fight and got taken in. She's been bailed out already. But I'm afraid it'll leave a permanent record. Could you look into it for me, a fight to protect Wanzai? The aunt on the other end narrowed her eyes, picking up something unusual in this. But she didn't ask further, her tone both doting and authoritative. All right, what's the name, which jurisdiction? Su Baiju. The more I said, the more guilt crept in. After all, it was because of me that Su Baiju got taken in. If this ended up leaving a permanent record in the future. All right, Auntie heard you. It's a small matter. Don't worry. Stop.